This is killer. Oh, no, 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 no.
Hello, and welcome to the Saturday RetroBlasting live stream. Today, we will be talking about games that then became other things. So yes, that does include Clue and Battleship or video games. As long as its first incarnation is a game of some kind.
That's the rule. It has to be a game first.
That's the only rule, is that it had to have been a game first. Then the sky's the limit, as long as it became some other form of like pop culture phenomena, cartoons and video movies and whatever. So
TV shows, video games,
cartoons,
novels, novellas,
all that good
editorials
stuff.
In the newspaper.
That's correct. And yes, several of you have noticed our sponsor today is Moon Pies. Moon Pies.
Well, Melinda, we talked about this. They are not our
They're
sponsor.
made with real sugar.
They're made with real moon.
Moon Pies since 1917. Today we'll read the ingredients. It all began in 1917 when a Kentucky coal miner. Anyway, later I will tell you all the story of Moon Pies. But for now, just know that I'm wearing my Moon Pie shirt, and we're all about Moon Pies.
Guys, she woke up like this. I don't know what's happening.
It's been an odd day.
Like it's like we had the Berenstain
Have
Bear.
you even played the Moon Pie video game? Because
no.
What? There's a Moon Pie video game?
I don't know, but wouldn't that be great?
No, I need that to be a flash.
Probably an app on a phone.
This is what happens when Michael's not here.
Yeah, I was fixing to say this will happen today.
Michael had to go take care of something, but he will be back momentarily. But until then, we're just gonna like ad-lib. I'm just kidding. We're gonna go ahead and start the show.
He had to go put his toupee back on,
Oh, great! Start that rumor.
It didn't look right this morning.
There is not a hair-related joke here, folks. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Can we start with the very first one?
Please do.
We don't have any real merchandise, but we all can agree the Gen Xers probably what really started this fad.
You can say Pong?
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Oh, okay, I was like...
That's the one that comes to my mind now.
Yes.
I mean, because Pong didn't really ever have
there wasn't like
spin-offs.
Pong the movie.
It was in every...
T.I. and Busta Rhymes.
But Pac-Man really spurred. We all remember.
I remember the cartoon.
It started
really
with the game,
well.
then the song, then the cartoon. That was a great cartoon.
Pac-Man Fever.
Pac-Man Fever.
What are you talking about?
Oh, don't even go there.
I don't.
Pac-Man Fever. It was
you do not know Pac-Man Fever?
No.
Too bad we can't play
Melinda fails today.
No, nobody
Sing
fails.
it to me.
I don't know the
Pac-Man Fever.
You're just making it up.
No, I am not.
Michael has a copy of
yes.
this. Like a piece of memorabilia that he hangs on the walls.
got a pocket full of quarters.
Is this
and
a real
go
song?
into the arcade.
This makes me sad.
It's a real song.
It
was a huge song.
Everybody out there
It must not have been that huge. All right.
Oh my God!
It was a thing.
Have I become Michael in his absence? Is that what's happened?
It was like Who Shot JR?
I mean,
we have
seriously.
a couple super choices.
Okay.
Super chats.
Super choice. No, I like super choices better.
Well,
we have to make super choices.
I wish I made super choices. Zantara says, your choice for the video game that would make the best movie that has not yet been made. My vote is the chilling horror game Clock Tower.
I don't even know that.
Oh.
I feel like I've heard of that. God, that's a good question.
Well, are you talking modern or classic or anything?
I would go with Sierra Online Quest for Glory.
Streets of Rage 4.
Missed.
It's Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay.
Like it's like 9 hours long, and it's just like these sweeping landscapes.
That game was already basically a movie. Like it was already like video that was pre-recorded, and it was like.
No, seriously, like I don't know. I'm surprised Breath of the Wild has not had a movie made out of it.
Or
like
Zelda at all.
Zelda at all. Like it feels like.
Well, but there's been so many TV shows and multiple cartoons made about Zelda.
But are any of them good? I don't know.
We thought
Yes.
so at the
Yeah?
time, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
actually, the 90s version of Zelda I thought was really good. But
I did notice in doing my research for this that there are a ton of horror adaptations.
Yes.
So horror games that then become horror movies that are, for the most part, fairly forgettable.
Oh my
at
gosh,
least
there's
as
one
the
90s.
movie part of it.
yeah, I mean, I would still love to see an actual Super Mario Brothers movie that made sense.
I
But
really
you
want
got
to
a
do
movie.
that.
You
I
got
want
one.
to do that as a Dreamland. That movie is
Is
a Dreamland.
so there's layers upon layers
I
of
know.
stuff with that
That
movie.
is so strange. I've
I
actually heard
mean-
it on a couple of podcasts, like Film Sack and other things.
Well, and the
brought
fact
one
that
up.
the guy who played Mario, which I know I'm horrible with names, was literally he admits he was drunk
Mhm.
the entire movie. and doesn't even remember.
Don't do
filming
the podcast before
Yeah.
we do it.
it. Well, I know. Well, I mean,
I'm just
I
kidding.
feel like that's going to be the second paragraph of the Wikipedia article. So we're
Master
pretty
Son
good
says UUDDLRL cheat code activated. Now this live stream will last 4 hours.
there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you are part of our Patreon, then it
will
kind of
last
does
4
last
hours.
for 4. It does for us.
Well, and
anyway.
even if it's not,
oh, wait! He's not here.
Ooh.
Michael's not here
we can
yet.
do whatever we want, you
No,
guys.
we
can eat all the moon pies.
Oh,
No.
yeah, that's true. We could.
No, you guys know how sick we would be if we ate off those delicious, wonderful sponsoring us moon
Only
pies.
220 calories.
No, everybody in the
know that.
audience. So our Patreons,
Oh, really?
our Patreons. Michael told me a story last week.
Oh my God, yes.
After the live streams last Saturday, of when he visited France and what happened to him and a girl.
It's not what
in
you
France.
think. It's not what you think at all.
And
Which is
you
why he
need to
told it
tell
that
him
way.
in the after show that he must repeat that story because let me tell you, it could be a movie. It's so good.
Bjorn says, "Do we still drink if he hasn't shown up yet?" Sure. I mean, it seems like
We would all already be drunk.
I mean,
Yeah, just pace yourself, drink responsibly.
yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, I got a few more super chats.
Well, while you're
love
looking for
super
those, I
chats.
just want to say,
Yes, please do.
I got a pocket full of quarters and I'm headed to the arcade. I don't have a lot of money, but I'm bringing everything I made. I've got a callus on my finger and my shoulder's hurting too.
Sounds like a personal
I'm going
problem.
to eat them all up
It's a
just
song.
as soon as they turn blue. Brought to you by Pac-Man Fever.
That has
I cannot believe.
I have no memory of this place.
No, if she heard it, like I'm tempted to make her pull it up and actually play a few
I'm not
verses.
doing it because
No,
we'll
not-
get
not on the live
demonetized.
stream, but-
Wicked Person says, "I wish there was a movie of the TRS 80s Dungeons of Daggerath or the
Oh,
PC's
Trash 80
Eye of the
games.
Beholder
Trash 80.
or Robotron or Zaxxon."
Oh, Robotron would have both of those really good picks actually. Zaxxon was awesome, especially on the ColecoVision. But I will say the Trash 80, you guys are going. That was my very first computer, was the Trash 80. I
Oh,
had
it's
a
all
Trash
coming
80.
back now. The second I
Yeah.
saw TRS-80, I was like,
Yeah. Tandy.
I do have to bring this up quickly, especially with early Atari games and other games like that. I, as a kid, was always so frustrated because the paintings on the cover of the boxes always looked so
epic.
amazing, and then I would put the game in. Like I would get this game and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like Star Wars for real, you know? And I put the game in and it's like,
And it's like a square that like is killed by a circle.
and it's like your whole job is just to stay away from the other squares.
No, it was
you
Pac-Man.
just
So
chase
I
around
was
that
obsessed
square.
with Miss Pac-Man. I love Miss Pac-Man. Even to this day, they will tell you if we go anywhere
That's true.
and there's an actual Miss Pac-Man stand-up arcade game, I will make all of them stand there and watch me play because I love it
That's
that
true.
much.
I
That's
won't,
actually
though.
happened.
It's actually happened. But
I happily watch.
remember when we were young 80s, and we all got our Atari and we were like, we got Pac-Man. You hook it up and it's like, dun, 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 dun. You're like, what the heck is this? Because
You'll
it
hear a
is
funny story.
nothing like this.
So
arcade
but
game.
my first video game experience was on a home system. So I didn't really ever go. I never got to go to an arcade or anything.
And you're like,
that.
why would people be obsessed with
Yeah,
this?
so like I got, of course, I got the Atari 2C because I'm freaking old, and I get it, and like I put it in, and I'm like, ooh, Pac-Man, the national craze. I'm finally gonna get to experience this amazing thing, and I put it in, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's okay, but
It's
Like,
like,
I don't-
ooh, is
I
this
don't-
construction paper?
and
Like-
that was honestly me with all video games, like until I got a Switch like a couple years ago, because I was just like, I don't get it. Like,
Well, I mean, and
I just didn't play them enough to like. So you guys are going to be like carrying the
Well,
front of
no,
this
I don't think so. I
conversation.
mean, I honestly, there's some games up here that I never got into. I mean, Michael is definitely the Tomb Raider expert. Honestly,
I've watched him play
I've
enough
never,
of it that I get it.
I
Like,
never got the appeal of Tomb Raider. It just never spoke to me.
I could tell you that
it was the closest we ever got to an Indiana Jones video game.
I mean, that makes sense
And
why he would like it.
That's why he loves it so much.
As a young fella growing up in Alabama.
Alabama, you say? Where is this?
Well, it's hard to describe where it is. Have you seen a map of the country?
No.
Okay, then it's not going to help.
It must be the same place where they keep that weird song you guys keep talking about.
You know what?
I think it might have actually originated.
I'm going to make her listen to this after we're done.
But, you know, when I went to the Walmart, the Wally World, to buy a video game, I always had my mom with me, and I never had the courage to suggest purchasing Tomb Raider. Because it just sort of seemed like it was a different game than it ended up being.
It's like Rick and Morty when he buys the robot. It's like
the way she's drawn.
The way she's drawn. There was, I have to say, somebody was really good at math because there was a lot of attention to the physics of certain things.
Yeah.
And that would be improved as the iterations went along. So it wasn't until I met Michael that, and the funny thing about Michael is when you talk to him, you genuinely believe that what he loves about the game is not all of those things, but the closeness to Indiana Jones and the adventure story of it and everything else. Like, I'm not saying that couldn't have been like, you know, something that everybody appreciated to some degree, but it was like, oh, I didn't realize there was a game there. Like, I really didn't.
All right, Michael Hinkson says video game that should be made into a movie is Missile Command.
Oh my god.
One of my favorite.
Didn't
you
it
read
get
my
made
mind.
into a movie?
No, not really.
It's clicking a couple of those paddles in my head.
No.
Do the research, look at the research box.
But I loved Missile Command. That was one of my favorite games.
There were a lot of movies that were on the list of like video games that have been made into movies, and I'm like, I've never even heard of that video game, much less the movie.
Missile Command feels like it would be an amazing like suspense Cold War drama kind of movie.
I'm thinking war games, but I have no idea.
Well, it's also like Metal Gear.
That game was not, but it had a similar look. Like the animations did look like the missiles.
Yes,
in war
with
games.
the tracks
it was
and
inspired
everything.
by that.
But if you talk about games that should have Metal Gear, I mean, Metal Gear goes all the way back to the original Nintendo. I love that game. It's such a hard game to play and defeat, but when you do, it's so satisfying.
I never got into that, but I've downloaded demos and played like 5 minutes.
Love Metal Gear. I only played the original one. I didn't play all the ones after.
What year did that come out ish?
Oh gosh, that would have been 80.
Oh really?
I
always thought of that
as
a 90s game. It would have had to been like
88 or 89. 88 or 89 because I played it and defeated it when I was in North Alabama, so it was 88 or 89.
World Made of Cardboard says, what game movies that did not work well? Doom, Battleship. I know Tim likes it, but I have never wanted to punch a main character so much.
Look, I mean, Battleship is just a fun. Fun movie.
Street Fighter is a tough movie to get through.
Well, most of them. I mean, traditionally, video games make very bad movies.
I don't know if I've ever seen a good one.
Except, board games. I mean, Clue made a great movie.
I think. Well, that's why
that
I
one
insisted
sort of like
that
sublimed the story. I think
well,
they really ran away with that.
They really did, and they added so much extra to it.
Tim Curry, though, I mean, that was great. Tim Curry, right there. He is just amazing in that.
I mean, I would love to hear what you guys think. Like, do you guys think that there was a really good adaptation of a video game? Because here's the thing. So, like, even though I didn't play a lot of video games in college, because I'm awesome, I bought my boyfriend a PS2, and so I frequently
that does make you awesome.
I frequently watched him play various games on the PS2. And the one that he played the most, because he's a huge horror fan, was Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
And so I remember like even sitting vicariously and watching him play that game when those lickers would like jump out. Like it was like terrifying and immersive.
It is one of the most frightening games I've ever played.
So scary. And it's just like, this is scarier than anything that you could ever put in those movies. Like those movies are like just trash in my opinion. But
it's hard to put them up next to like other zombie movies. Like they're competing in kind of a rarefied space.
But they're also never going to live up to the game because in the game you are literally like it makes you feel like you're about to be attacked. It's so scary. The
and you don't trust any moment. Like You're minding your own business.
Well,
you're
it's
like, oh my
first
gosh,
person.
it's safe.
And it was one of the first times that was a really realistic experience in a game. So I feel like, that's another reason that particular game stands out to me so much.
The PS2 one had 3D sound too. Like
Yeah,
if
so you had
those
surround
speakers-
sound.
I mean,
So
we
you would
didn't
hear those
because it
wall
was
crawlers.
college, but I mean, it was scary.
But I mean, honestly,
beer
I
and
would
then
say
That's what we were
games,
doing.
Yeah.
Sure.
whether it be board games, whether it be video games, they make better cartoons for sure than they do actual movies, typically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Dungeons and Dragons, wonderful board game, wonderful cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, is there a time where they've adapted a game, especially a more modern game, and they didn't use the music?
World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So let's talk about World of Warcraft because that was
That's
such
a
a
big
huge
controversy
thing.
that they didn't use the composer. for
Yeah, well, so like,
But I
it
still
also-
like the movie.
that. I haven't seen
Did
it.
you like it?
Actually,
oh, you didn't see it.
I mean,
That's
I own the movie in 4K. No surprise to anybody here, probably. But I like the movie itself for the visuals and things like that. But I mean, the story itself, man, it's fine. But no, you're absolutely right that the music was not World of Warcraft music for sure.
Yeah, and as someone like I remember when I was traveling a lot for a previous job, I actually bought those soundtracks and would drive listening to them because it's probably no surprise that during that time of my life I played a lot of World of Warcraft with my wife, and it was like our date night thing. So it was like I was constantly surrounded by that music. I would play it while I was on the road. And then when they decided not to use that composer, it had to have been some sort of legal copyright or some weird boneheaded executive decision to try to get a new composer to make the music for that movie. But it was a real shame because the original music for that game is kind of, it's almost like with Star Wars, the music elevates the movie some. Like that movie owes a lot to a lot of the other pieces that went around it. And I feel like World of Warcraft is one of those where you'll be wandering through a zone and you'll hear just like a little bit of that music kind of come in the top and it just brings you right in.
Well, so many of these games, especially modern games, the music is so much a part of it. And it's like a really good example of that. Someone mentioned in the chat, the Mortal Kombat
Mario
movie. The Mortal Kombat movie. Everyone says that that's the best video game adaptation. And that's like, have you seen the movie recently? The music is really like, it's kind of dated, but it's kind of fun.
The
like,
music's good, but the movie is dated really badly.
Yeah,
It doesn't hold up.
My
well.
favorite was Michael and I watched it like maybe a year ago.
Uh-oh.
We're sitting there watching it. He's actually
Do
walking in
you
right
hear
now.
what I hear?
A song. It's Michael walking in. But so yeah, we were watching Hi Michael.
Hi.
Welcome to the
Please
live
continue
stream.
your thought.
We were watching Mortal Kombat, like this is probably about a year ago. And there's a scene, I think it's the scene where like Sub-Zero is fighting
Is he cold?
Anyway, they're out in the woods. It's not Liu Kang.
That's Scorpion.
Scorpion, sorry.
Yeah, and
Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage,
Cage,
thank you.
yeah.
And in the background behind the trees you can see cars just I'm like, man, this was a B movie.
Oh, I would have loved that if in one of the Avengers movies, when Thor's out there fighting Captain America, up in the background, you saw something like that just as an homage.
So now you can take a drink when Michael is here.
Like a new rule, you take a drink when Michael eats a moon pie.
Yeah.
Michael's
Moon
having a
pies.
rough day.
Moon pies.
Rough day.
Visit us online or at one of our Moon Pie General stores.
We are not sponsored by
There's
Sponsored
a
by
Moon
Moon
Pie
Pies.
General
is
store.
just obsessed
There
with
is
moon
we've
pie.
been there. It's in Tennessee. It's great. You should go there.
Chattanooga.
Well, that explains a
Chattanooga.
few things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Connor Fuller says a movie that became a game, Escape from Colditz. Spent many a rainy summer day playing that for hours with friends.
So that's in reverse.
Connor's just like
Mhm.
going, rules? We don't need rules.
Well, we're good.
We're
I
doing-
agree because I kind of was wanting to go both ways.
He
but-
was like Star Wars,
They
and
were
I'm
like,
like,
no,
no,
yeah.
that was a movie.
Yeah,
first."
but you know how many movies became games?
like all of them.
No,
All
no,
of them.
But we don't know if they were good games or bad games. I would say most of them are bad games, just like most movies are bad movies of video games.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the Monopoly, the version of Monopoly for the movie.
Monopoly?
Monopoly. The version of Monopoly for the movie.
Monopoly.
Phenomena.
Monopoly.
Guildford says
See what
best
happens
board
when you're
game.
not here.
Best
Fine.
board game to film: Searching for Bobby Fischer. Chess.
I'll allow
That's
it.
pretty good.
I'll allow it.
And then there's also, of course, the great Queen's Gambit, which is super popular that everyone says, oh, but it's actually, I think, still.
Did you get your hair fixed? I was...
Oh no.
Tim
No.
was saying you have a toupee, and that's what you were dealing with.
Yeah, and I
Great.
another hair related.
That's what we need is another myth so that the anti-repro people can be like, he's even got fake hair. The guy's all fake. Everything about him fake.
Hair.
Yeah, repro hair. Yeah.
It is, but you can never tell. You can never tell.
Well, that's what makes it dangerous.
Did you realize that we look like Christmas Day up here? Like the two of us.
Oh my
like,
gosh! Well, even
I'm just
blue.
gray.
I guess
Mhm.
shiny.
I'm just gray.
Well, that's
Master
man.
Son says, here is some money to get Michael a watch so he knows how to be here on time. Hey, buddy.
Oh. Man. Anyway. don't know
What
if you wanna
time
go
is
there.
it? Well, it's
Well,
time. to buy a watch.
My world the roof fell in on my
Look,
day 2
we did
minutes
not
before
tell
the
them
start.
anything
Yeah.
about
No, we
that.
didn't.
We
And all I'm going to say is, thanks for making me feel like we're entertaining.
So where are we on this conversation at this point? Like, what are we talking
Doesn't
about
even
here?
matter.
That
We can
doesn't
start
matter.
It's
talking and the
us.
show
So do you
begins.
think there's been any structure at all? No.
Oh well, here we go.
There's been a little structure. I kicked it off saying
Tim actually is the only reason that we have any structure. So
I literally
Tim was
started.
holding up the conversation on his end of the table.
I was trying. I didn't have you. I need you here.
Hmm.
A World
Um,
Made of Cardboard says, Michael, you only missed the discussion about vacuum cleaners.
I know. It really sucks.
But I talked about how Pac-Man kicked off that world of
Mhm.
merch, and then Melinda says she's never heard that there was a Pac-Man Fever song.
Oh yeah, I have it on vinyl.
That's what I was saying.
See,
Someone gave it
Doesn't
to
believe
me at work one year. They were just like,
wrong with
"Here, you're like a retro guy.
Here's
Here's
a
this
vinyl
Pac-Man
with
vinyl."
this.
Yeah,
Just
Pac-Man-
love it. You'll know what the music was.
Pac-Man was the first video game to merch, video game to adaptation.
cartoons,
Yeah.
And
board
that's where
games, yeah.
Tim started us
Mhm.
off at the beginning with
Yep.
Pac-Man, and then we just randomly started talking
going
about,
everywhere. We went everywhere.
But other
We've already done the whole life.
other games at that time tried it. So for example, Centipede had a board game.
Mhm.
And then it became a
Did
movie
it?
Yes.
about a human one.
And then I want
Human Centipede is a video game too.
We've already brought in Searching for Bobby Fischer. Now I'm going to look for broken video games.
I really like that. I still
Oh, but anyway,
Wasn't there also a board game for Frogger?
yes, there was a board game for Frogger, for Pac-Man, for Centipede.
Saturday Morning
I
Pan
think
says
Asteroid.
tic-tac-toe movie War Games, which is a good one.
Yeah.
They do play that in that.
That's true. Very true.
Michael Hinkson says, good morning, RetroBlasting from the beautiful Eastern Sierra Nevadas. Most problems with most game adaptations is they don't stick to the game's premises.
Yes.
They make new plots that don't make sense. Yeah, so I think that is definitely part of it, like, which is true of like book adaptations and things like that. You can never exactly replicate it, because if you wanted it exactly, then you should just go to the source material. But they don't adapt it in a way so that the tone feels the same, or the
Mhm.
characters are
Well,
like, it's sort of like Ready Player One, which is kind of not exactly, but it pulls in a lot of the characters from video games and things like that.
Well, let's be honest. The majority of video games from the 80s, there's no plot, there's no world.
Well, no,
there's
when you're talking about Qbert,
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
no,
it's like-
if people brought up the movie, the terrible, we'll put it in quotes, movie Pixels.
Ooh.
It's, you know,
Oh,
tough
Qbert
movie.
Qbert is in that movie, and it's just like he didn't have a person, although he did have a cartoon, and in the cartoon he had kind of a personality. But the thing is that, like, even when you're talking about later video games or like adapting something from a video game, it's how are you gonna capture that in a film? Like, some people could do it, like Peter Jackson certainly did it when he adapted Lord of the Rings, but you know, even when they did Ready Player One, they didn't capture the tone of the book
Look,
in
for
the
everyone
film.
who loves Ready Player One out there, that's fine. It is a fun read if you can, if it doesn't bother you the amount of pandering that he does when he brings in some of these things. Sorry, buddy, if the author's watching, but I actually have.
That would be
Wow,
great.
you
I
think
would love
highly
that.
of us, don't you?
I would rather assume that direction than the other direction, Melinda. So I'd rather self-aggrandize how majestic we are.
We're almost as majestic as the Sierra Nevadas.
But if you look at Ready Player One, there really isn't a very complicated plot to the book. There's not a lot to get wrong or right in making the movie, and yet they still managed to make the movie a little lackluster, in my opinion. Just hot take. So I have actually
I agree.
started reading the second Ready Player 2, and have not gotten past the first chapter of it yet. But I do have that on my docket to complete at some point.
But Ready Player One is just a move. It's just a story, a book that brings in elements of video games. It didn't start life as a video game.
No, but I feel like, a lot of people are like, yelling out Pixels, and I'm surprised I didn't see a lot of people yelling out Wreck-It Ralph, which does take video game characters and then put them on the big screen.
Which was wonderful, but he did it in a really interesting way.
Yeah, no, that one is actually pretty, I thought it was pretty
Michael,
good.
I see what you're concerned about with that line of thinking, and I think it's an interesting thing because that's a movie that's kind of an ensemble of games.
Right.
It's not really inspired by a specific video game. It's sort of like a
Right.
collection of them. So I think it still kind of counts.
Much in the same way Pixels just brings in a bunch of video game characters and tropes, and then
But it's kind of like a montage.
Hey,
Right.
remember Donkey Kong?
Nope.
There it is.
Love Donkey Kong.
I like King of Kong. the
Wicked
documentary.
Person says, grading 10th grade essays isn't normally fun, but one kid just wrote a detailed, intelligent essay about why Scorpion would beat Sub-Zero in any fight.
Okay, actually, I would have to give the kid extra credit.
That is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Well,
He pulled in all the lessons from the week and, made all of those.
I want all of
Just
the
looking you up and down.
I want all of the college kids out there to read Wicked Person's statement very carefully. Because if you are in some kind of weird artsy doctorate program or graduate program and you think you're going to write a thesis about something pop culture like this, which they've tried in colleges before, I knew students that did this kind of stuff, this trite kind of stuff. Just remember 10th graders are doing this already in high school. So seriously, level up with your thesis.
Hey, well, this one is actually a 10th grader.
10th grader. What I'm saying is college kids need to know that this is being written in high school. So don't write it for your graduate thesis.
One time when I was in 7th grade,
Oh.
we had to write.
Was it band camp?
Nope. It was English class, and we had to write a poem. And so I literally just wrote out the lyrics to Sanitarium by Metallica and turned it in. And my teacher was like, "Wow, that's really good." I'm like, "Thanks."
Well, I mean,
Because
chances
nobody
were she
else
hadn't read it, or
Nobody else listened to metal, so not only the teacher didn't know it, but like
Oh,
none of the other kids
man.
knew it either.
So if
One
this had been
time-
an 80s movie, that would have been entered into a contest, which you would have won and would have gone national and then had that awkward moment.
Yeah, and still no one would have known it
I don't know. It is
because they're poetry people. So
One time at band camp, I refused to be the only person in my, or no, I screwed that up. Never mind, moving forward.
comedy is a risk.
That's a good one. Anyway.
Eddie says,
Wizard?
I like Warcraft, but they screwed up by setting it in original. Nope, they screwed up by setting it during original RTS instead of setting it in WoW.
Yeah.
Considering in World of Warcraft setting that current fans aren't familiar with. WoW, is that what that means?
Yeah,
Yes.
World of Warcraft.
Okay.
There's versions of the game. There's an
Well, now
RTS
it's
version and a
fragmented
role-playing
Beyond
version.
fragmented. Like
Yeah.
There's all like multiple
Versions.
versions in reality.
Well, yeah, they said it during the original PC game, which why would they do that when the online game was infinitely more popular? That was a really bad move on their part.
I think Aaron might be right. There's somebody was fighting somewhere and money became part of it. And
Oh, ever since Activision got them, I've been I've enjoyed it from afar. I come back to it every once in a while, but
yeah, I came back
I
and
was
played
in love
it.
with the early Blizzard, like the
Yeah.
original Blizzard that made Orcs and Warriors and all that kind of stuff, and Diablo
Let's see
specifically
that,
was
yeah.
what brought me in. So that's a good one. I would love to see a movie made from Diablo.
Diablo.
Yes.
Wow, that would be a really dark movie.
Oh yeah, it would probably need to be on Netflix.
Snyder?
rated mature. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Tough Golden Fox Moore says the poop I took this morning is greater than Pixels.
Wow.
Oh, funny.
Hopefully, it wasn't like Cubist.
Yep.
Ew, love it.
Wicked Person
Did
says,
it glow in the dark?
Is that an orange Galoob Black Star tee?
I told you someone would see it. I told you.
She fought to put that up there.
She
man.
did.
He's
She
my
got
little
yelled at.
friend.
She got yelled at.
I did get yelled at, but it was worth it.
I tried to make a voice, but it ended up sounding like Mickey Mouse.
Hello. Hello. You're so cute.
This is what happens when you fall apart right before we start the live stream.
Look, I'm just along for the ride at this point. Like
Well, buckle up, Michael.
It's about to be a rough ride. Ratnick says, I'd be thrilled if Peter Jackson or someone likewise made Golden Axe into a movie. Ooh.
I agree with
Golden
that.
Axe.
Golden Axe is awesome. Love that game.
Love
Well,
that
I don't
game.
love the console version of it. I like the actual arcade
I've only ever played the arcade.
four player version of
Not a
it.
lot of games that started out on arcades ended up feeling right when we played them on the console. I don't know if it was the opportunity cost of us having had to put a quarter in it, or just the souped up hardware that they would put into the consoles.
I think Street
versus-
Fighter was one of the first ones that they got right. Because, I mean, I actually remember when that first Street Fighter came out for Super Nintendo.
Street Fighter 2. Yeah.
Street Fighter 2.
Oh, that one was.
And
that was a standard.
I went and stood in line to get that game. And if people
You
remember
what it cost?
$89.99, because I worked at McDonald's flipping hamburgers. I was
Wow.
17 years old. And I went and stood in line to get that game. Got the last copy of it. It was $90 for that game.
Because it was so popular.
Because it was so popular. And I think we missed an entire summer because me and my buddies were inside. We were like, it's actually like the arcade version. It's just like it. And we played that game the entire summer.
So
I think
how
we
did
missed
you
it.
go about getting all the moves? Did somebody have a subscription to Nintendo Power, or was it just you being your
Tim
normal
was
wizard?
born knowing all the rules.
No, Tim has a knack for this when playing video games of figuring out
That doesn't surprise
the
me.
button combination to make something different happen,
I mean, I
even
don't
out
know.
of anger.
Can
Like,
you memorize them? Do you actually?
I know a lot of them.
Really?
You know which
I'm bad
do you
at
know
that.
which move was the most frustrating one to pull off in that Super Nintendo game?
In Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter
not hitting
2.
the reset button.
The
Running out of
most
quarters.
stressful.
On your Super.
The one that
Oh.
I could not consistently pull off because of the button combo being so funky.
Well, which character? Just give me the character.
Ryu or Ken?
Oh, the Ayukin?
No.
The
That one.
Yeah.
Yes. What a piece of garbage. It
yeah,
was
the
like
roll.
but it wasn't a roll. It was over, down, then diagonal.
Yeah.
Which most of them were either down diagonal side or
rolled.
side diagonal up. And this
I
was
can just
like
tell you, I
over,
would
down,
never be able to do
diagonal.
this. No.
I would just still roll it. I still rolled.
But it didn't work for
Kieran
me.
says it looks like Michael needs a hug. Tim? Wicked-
I will
Wicked-
give him a hug. Don't
Wicked
worry.
Person says, I liked the fact that Will Wheaton had to read his own name in the audiobook version of Ready Player One.
Okay, that being said, Will Wheaton does a good narration of that story. He's been narrating a lot of audiobooks, so
Thank you.
it's good.
So
Well,
if we're
that's good to know. I just think he actually would
if
be
we're
good.
talking
They're
about
slightly boring facts. Thank you very much, everyone. Please go
Yes?
just trying to get this conversation down the highway a little bit, because right now it seems like we've been changing
We're
tires.
We're everywhere.
All right. So after we get through Pac-Man and Centipede and the classic cabinets, I think the first major cartoons start to show up on Saturday morning. So the first time that video games and games in general started to get adapted was into animated fare.
Yep.
You had Pac-Man, you had Donkey Kong and the arcade or
Mhm.
Supercade, Saturday morning
Frogger.
Supercade.
Then
You had Frogger.
Captain N.
Well, before that, you had Pole Position.
Oh yeah.
Pole-
Well, so you bring up an interesting point then.
Okay, so let's talk about Pole Position.
If you're talking, because there clearly is a set of cartoons that are very close to the game, and then there's a series of cartoons that have nothing to do with the game.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't you say Pole Position has clearly nothing to do?
It has nothing to do with the game, but it says Namco on the credits. So it is clearly,
There are cars in it.
and it is clearly, it is trading, it is licensing and trading on the name of the game.
It is, but
Right? So
But they didn't bring over that deep pole position plot.
look,
A race.
I feel like,
I say this in the video that I did about this, which is like just watching an actual race. There's no story.
no, I look.
It's like
I'm not
Spy
arguing the
Hunter.
point.
Like, what was going on? I don't know. I just know I could have spit oil out of the back of my
I'm
car.
not arguing.
that's
that
Spy
point.
Hunter.
That's what he
But,
said.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No.
All right, Jody says, what game-based movie strayed the furthest from the game, and which movie was most true to the game story or premise?
The furthest one has to be Super Mario Brothers.
I
I
was gonna say
mean-
Final Fantasy, the one with the
Oh, well,
space monster. They go to space to avoid the monsters.
but
because the guy
Final
is fast.
Fantasy always strays from itself with each sequel. Like,
They-
isn't
they
it?
do,
You're
but
talking
that
about the spirits within.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
that's the thing where I'll probably get yelled at. That might have actually been based on like an import that I never saw or never got
No.
to play.
No, it literally was like
But then you had Advent
Like-
Children, right? You had the Final Fantasy VII
Advent. Yeah.
continuation, which was a lot closer.
Matt Film Production says, Melinda, here is one for you. Did you know that Golden Axe used sound bites of people screaming from First Blood in the game? Yes, I did know that, and this is the reason why right here.
So I'm sitting in the arcade, putting quarter after quarter into Golden Axe as a child, and
Just tape them together and just sort of.
I don't know if this is even a thing, but I remember sounds and auditory, content very quickly. I don't have a photographic memory, but I have an auditory memory. So that's why I can't tell you exactly what Greedo says in the subtitles, but I can just be like, "Son pichele, barakami ma wakichita, jaba wanichiko, ushani sami uska," like all that stuff. So when it came to Golden Axe, I was hearing all the sound effects, ding, ding, ding. Oh, yeah. So then a few years later, when I grew up a little bit, I was allowed to watch First Blood.
And you're like,
and I'm watching First Blood, and he jumps out of the bushes, and he basically cuts Caruso's heel, and he's like, ah, and he falls down, and he goes, ah, yeah. And I went, no way. I'm like, so they took that scream and others from First Blood and just ganked them for this game. And we talked about that in our Dragon Con presentation, which has never actually been posted on the channel. Now go. I had to finish that so that they knew that they weren't going to go looking for a video that wasn't there.
Do you think those actors or anybody got paid?
Nope.
That's funny. Real quick, to go back to Jody's question, what was the best or most true to the game movie adaptation?
Street Fighter. No, I'm kidding.
Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat is definitely a contender, and as much as I hate to admit it, even though I think it strays in many ways. Now, I'm not talking about Mortal Kombat. I'm bringing up a second. As much as I feel like this movie strayed in fatal ways, it did that Hollywood thing where it's like, oh, no, we got it pretty close. It's like, no, you're Hollywood close, which is the recent Tomb Raider movie.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, like I hated the movie. I'm mad at that movie, but you could tell Hollywood was like, well, no, I mean, she's on an island. I don't hate it, but you and I both know that movie went off the rails in that one moment.
I don't.
Do you think that it could have been as good as the game?
No, the game is awesome.
The original Tomb Raider game, I thought, even though I didn't play it, when I know the story, which is aliens, underground pyramids, all that stuff, that sounds like it would make a fantastic movie.
It would.
But we've never gotten it.
No, we haven't. But I'm talking about the one with the lead.
No, I know you're talking about. I hate that one.
I don't think you ever got that movie unrelated to a game.
So.
Monkey Boy says, Hardcore Henry, a movie that's every FPS.
Mm-hmm. That's a movie.
NPC. Just recently.
Is Hardcore Henry based on a video game, or is it pretending to be a video game?
I know where he's going with this, and if I'm right, you're talking about Doom. Because
we're talking about a movie called Hardcore Henry.
Well, there's also Doom is a movie that's first person that actually does
specifically about a movie called Hardcore.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That whole movie is first person.
Well,
Hardcore.
No. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I know what you're talking about.
It's literally like it's a first-person shooter game.
But I love Doom because Doom was very much there's a story, there's a plot, and then at the very end, to pay homage to the game, you see it go first person for this really cool little piece of it.
Right.
It was very interesting.
Have any of you seen Hardcore Henry?
I have not.
Yeah, I have seen parts of it. Yes, I can't
feel like
watch
I've played it many times over the years.
There is a classic movie that is basically the Doom or Hardcore Henry version of a 1940s film noir.
This sounds great.
Humphrey Bogart in Dark Passage, where you don't actually, it's done in the first person, the whole movie until like the end, because his face is bandaged up. Like he wakes up and it wakes up in full first person view, and it stays that way for like half the movie. And Lauren Bacall, he has amnesia and stuff. And Lauren Bacall
I think I know the movie you're talking about.
It's actually really innovative. It's pretty cool.
Hey, Tim, what number do you have me on?
Number 3.
Gunstar says, though the villains are poorly written, the Rampage movie was actually really well done. I kind of wanted to see that because it seems like a cheesy, like Sunday afternoon matinee type of movie that I would enjoy just like paying attention to.
I wish. I mean, I'm sure it's good for what I just can't get through it.
I really liked the fact that didn't I hear the story that The Rock was like, no, you can't hurt the ape.
Yes.
You can't kill the ape.
Kill, like hurt, kill.
Because he raised the ape from a baby and all that.
I liked that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know.
That made me happy. I'll just say that.
So if we're talking about how these movies then started to jump into movies, the first major one would be Super Mario Brothers, which
is
had already had the
horrible.
Captain N show and the Super Mario show
Yes.
and the Zelda show cartoons. So then they do Super Mario Brothers the movie, and I don't know about you guys, but I refused to go see that movie the moment I saw the trailer.
I actually went and saw it in the theater.
Even though you saw the trailer?
I did. It was horrible. You're absolutely right. It was a bad movie, but
Because when I saw the trailer, I was like, that's not Super Mario Brothers. That's nothing close.
yeah,
I couldn't really figure out what was happening. I think I just watched it on TV when it came.
Yeah.
got
I
syndicated.
actually did. I saw it in the theater. So.
Nobody could figure out what was happening in that movie.
But
What a mess.
What a treasure we have in retrospect. Do I sound better, whoever is listening?
Yeah,
and thinks
tell
I'm
us.
buzzing?
Prime Syndicate says, just notice Melinda is seriously representing for Moon Pie today. Moon Pie. Since
Guys,
1912.
do not play
It's
into
made
this.
with real sugar, not that high fructose corn
Melinda,
syrup
we
crap.
talked about this.
It's
Can you put
really
the-
good. Thank you for sponsoring us, Moon Pie.
They did not
Oh,
sponsor.
They did
us.
not
That is
sponsor
true.
us.
They did.
Oh my God.
Look.
What happened to RetroBlasting? Moon Pie sued him out of existence.
Why would they sue us?
No, they did not. They are not sponsoring us. They are, to my knowledge, not even aware.
Left Coast Graphics says Joust the movie would be the biggest blockbuster ever. Who would want to watch that?
Well, I would.
love that
Because
movie.
like somebody like
Game.
riding an emu, like
Or the game. I love that game.
It's an
Sorry.
ostrich or an emu, and then
I
you've
know.
got little dudes on them with jousting.
I know, that's what I
Yeah.
just
You got to
said.
get the eggs.
Yeah.
And all that.
Somebody was on hard drugs when they came up with that.
It's a fun game.
well, Aaron and I really researched some of those early like game companies and stuff like that. So I would highly suggest that they were on a lot of
I
drugs.
had this idea, man. I was
Especially
thinking,
Atari.
Do you
thinking
remember?
about it last
Yeah.
night, man.
Wow.
Like I was riding this ostrich, man, and I was like,
And I had a
one of,
stick.
it was one of King Arthur's knights, man.
They would
And I
have
was
like hot tub parties behind the building, like during work, and,
Yes,
like with beer and
that
joints
was whole,
and
the
whatever.
whole Atari thing. Yes.
Like that was his
They would go
what's
out
his
to the
name?
grassy
Nolan?
knoll out
No.
there and
Not
smoke a
Emmerich.
doobie.
no.
It's been a very long time for you to look at me like I'm Wikipedia.
Space Monkey Mafia says, "Who would you cast as Link in a hypothetical Legend of Zelda movie?"
I have no idea.
I would go
The
with
dude who played Kelso from that 70s show.
What?
Frodo Baggins.
I would-
because he never like he. I think he uses the One Ring.
Yeah, he doesn't age.
I would do a Christopher Reeve and go with an unknown. I would do an
Yeah,
unknown
yeah.
for Link.
Yeah. You'd kind of have to.
Yeah, because Tom Holland has gotten too jacked to play Link at this
That
point.
is not a sentence I ever thought I
The
would
Rock
hear someone
is
say.
who I would pick.
Well, he- look at him lately.
His
Yeah,
short,
I
his
have it.
sword's
He's
like this big. He's
But
like,
yeah, like,
That
but
would
it would
just
be
be
funny. It would be hilarious. Scott says Frogger was a cartoon.
Yes, it was
Yes.
part of the Saturday Morning Supercade in the early
Hubert
80s.
Also was a cartoon.
Can you
Remember
imagine
Donkey Kong
today-
Jr.?
But you can't see the show now because most of the episodes have been lost.
Yes.
Like Doctor Who.
Pitfall was also on
Mhm.
there. Space Ace. So like Saturday Morning Fam.
Yep.
Can
points
you
this
guys
out.
imagine today the sales pitch for a game like Frogger? Like, hey guys, we want to make a game for children where the object is to safely run across a busy freeway.
And you're a number one. You're a frog.
Kids, go practice.
all of a sudden the legal and liability team's like, can we talk about that?
Yeah, but you know what? There's no legal liabilities for these companies like there are for toys. Like these companies are like, hey,
True.
they're like Grand Theft Auto 5. Hey, anybody want to murder a hooker in an alley and then set them on
mean,
fire?
yeah,
Grand
this
Theft Auto
is-
5.
That's a
Like-
soundbite. But you know,
Moon pies.
after several no, do not correlate those two things together.
That is how we're going to get sued.
Stop it.
Hookers and moon pies.
Nope. No. Not at all. Irony, folks. All irony. But the heavy metal regulation stuff that happened in the 80s feels like that's been happening since the early aughts for video games.
Mm-hmm.
People trying to say there's a correlation between violent video games or reckless video
Yeah.
games and children's behavior. I don't buy into it personally, but it is. I feel like the same way around like about heavy metal. I feel like they're just trying to blame something. But that being said, I do think that would be a hard sales pitch now to try to sell a game where you're trying to run across crowded traffic. The first time that happens in real life, there's going to be someone who's angry and they're going to come yelling at your board of directors.
Well, but I think things are just so. I mean, games are so different now. I mean, everything's
well,
on
kids
rails.
don't go outside.
They're
so-
also hyper realistic.
Yeah, but the games are on rails, like you said. They're very hyper realistic. I mean, we just had a pixelated frog trying to jump from log to log.
Which is why I said, can
mean-
you imagine today if that was the pitch?
But I mean, it doesn't even resemble anything in real life, whereas Ghost Protocol or
Yeah.
whatever kind of does.
Well,
you
first
know,
of all, it was
so.
kind of a throwaway joke moment. Like, can you imagine if we were doing this in front of a board?
But no, I mean, you bring up a great point, though. You're actually tapping into something I think bigger of. Is there correlations now where there wasn't in the 80s just because the games are so much simpler and not realistic and no plot to anything, whereas now everything has a plot and a story? And,
Well, imagine layering virtual reality onto that.
oh, yeah. I mean,
So you've got now hyper realistic graphics. You have depictions of violence, and it's in virtual reality. I'm not saying we should blame it, but I'm saying it is worth thinking about before you jump into
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 6 and it's VR, and all the things Michael just said about moon pies are happening right there. in that
Okay, I
game.
have some super chats, so I'm going to start reading them.
Yes.
Wilson says, "For Michael, whatever's bumming you, we love you."
Thank you, Wilson. I appreciate that.
Michael Hinkson says, "Aaron, check your mic." This
This
is
is
the
what we've
thing.
already
so
done.
we've already done that.
Thank
So,
you, Michael Hinkson, for the reminder to check my microphone.
all right.
Hopefully, it is resolved as of now.
Wicked Person says, "Next week, video games, arcade machines, and consoles depicted in movies that weren't real. Space Paranoids, Starfighter."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, those are movies that invented video games. Cloak and Dagger is another
Tron.
one. Cloak and Dagger. Well, Tron
But it
then
came a real
Tron
thing.
was the only one that actually got their video game that the movie created into arcades.
Yeah.
Last Starfighter almost did.
See how loud
And-
that is?
Yes, I see. So yeah, going back to what I was saying earlier, if you guys, even if you've seen Super Mario Brothers, the movie, if you haven't read about the behind the scenes,
Then don't, and wait for our Dreamland that we're going to
Because
do.
that
live.
is something you missed, Michael. We discussed making that a podcast.
Michael
episode.
actually suggested that we do a
Michael
whole Dreamland on it.
suggested that we do that.
Or just go and read it, and then you don't have to listen to
no,
us.
they always find a way to.
What? I was taking your suggestion.
I know, and that's absolutely
You're
fine.
exactly right. It's a great suggestion. You're so pretty.
She's been looking you up and down all day.
I don't want to. We're not going to even extend that sentence. We're not
Crime
going to.
Syndicate says, just for the Dark Passage reference, Bogart is the man.
Bogart is the man. Well, the secret in doing a good Humphrey Bogart impression is to not move your upper lip because his upper lip was paralyzed. So he's got to keep his upper lip.
So
I
you
didn't
Not
know that.
moving.
And how did
kinda-
that happen?
Really?
Yes, his upper
Kinda
lip
like
was
Stallone.
paralyzed in an injury.
Really?
Who
Yeah.
injured
What
that
kind of
man?
injury?
I want to say it was in. I want to say World War One, but don't quote me on that.
The Great War, you say?
The Great War, the war to end all wars, the war to end all wars.
Wow.
Wicked
Well, how
Person
we still
says,
say that.
Yeah.
Wicked Person says, is it me or did Link in the 80s Zelda cartoon use a bastardized version of a Steve Martin SNL catchphrase? Well, excuse me.
Yes,
Yes,
he did, and it was bad.
It was
It was
really
it was
annoying.
as bad as Jar Jar Binks,
Yeah.
co-opting the Olsen twins. How rude!
It kind of also reminds me of Urkel. Did I do that? Like it's
Oh.
like really like at that.
Don't like any of those.
Yeah. Guildford says the Wing Commander games had superior
Ooh.
actors, Walken, McDowell, Hamill, and plot to the actual '99 movie adaptation.
Yes, which don't even get me started.
That movie had bullet time,
That's what I
Tim.
was thinking of. Not Missile Command, but Wing Commander.
Yeah,
So
Wing
neither was-
Commander, and it's weird because the guy who made Wing Commander made that movie, used his own money, and now he's making Star Citizen, which I've invested in.
He's been
That's a true statement that you just
he's
made.
been making Star Citizen for 8 years.
9.
That doesn't help your case.
Tim doesn't fight this, Michael. This
I
is-
don't fight this. I look at it as if I went to Vegas and threw $100 on a poker table and lost it. It's the same kind of gamble to me.
Hey, I got the first-person shooter. Like I purchased the access to that, so I get all the emails from him when there are updates.
Very
So I can
nice.
kind of have a little bit of intel on what you're.
Do you know
excited
what
about.
happens when a lot of people lose a gamble on the same product?
Yeah.
It's called a class action lawsuit.
Oh, that's going to be a messed up.
A World
one.
Made of
Yeah,
Cardboard
that'll be-
says best video games to toy. I actually liked the G.I. Joe, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat toys. Today, I think
Jazzwares.
Fortnite figures look good.
Well, we have some of the Street Fighter figures here in the studio. A lot of those figures, in fact, most of them, the vast majority, like 95 to 97% of those toys are recobbled together parts from other existing Joes. The only things that are unique about those action figures across the board are their head sculpts. And all of the vehicles and play sets are also recycled from G.I. Joe vehicles.
Gotta give them credit.
Yeah.
The Street Fighter playset would be pretty great if they did it right.
Well, they didn't.
Like
They
tear up the car.
the Street
Yeah.
Fighter playset, which was made loosely based on the movie Street Fighter, was the Shadowloo headquarters, which was the 1991 G.I. Joe headquarters. So it's a rather
Would have still been great.
Real quickly, Charlie says Pong the movie would be the best blockbuster ever. Two people deciding the fate of the planet by playing tennis.
Oh,
I
you'd have to
actually
glue it. You'd have to build-
feel like you could do a funny version and it actually might be pretty good.
if you went like
you had-
Clue,
Yeah.
you know, and you got whoever the comedians are of our age right now to make it.
But
Or you know what? For this
But
argument,
not like
let's go back.
SNL ad libby kind of crap. It would need to be a tight script.
Well, you want
That's-
to buy a box of Girl Scout cookies
No.
to be a part of your
No.
movie?
Will Ferrell, Kate McKinnon, Pong, the movie.
All right, let's introduce
That's
time
what we
travel
would
for
get.
this. If we cast this movie, we are allowed to go back in time and select actors to be a part of this movie.
Well, yeah,
we don't
you'd
have
almost
time to do that now, but
Jody says thoughts about Sonic the movie and thoughts about the first design of Sonic, the one that caused an outrage.
Oh.
Someone just messing up or done intentionally as a publicity stunt.
No, I think it was done intentionally.
I think it was.
I think
too.
it was done intentionally.
Not
but
as a
blindly.
publicity stunt, though.
I think they did it earnestly, and they just
Yeah.
didn't realize how bad it was.
And then
Yeah,
I
that's
watched
what I
the
mean.
movie, and I will tell you, the movie's not good. It's
I haven't
not.
watched it.
Oh,
Everybody says it's great. My son made me watch it, and it was. I thought it was
And yet
horrible.
it did real well at the box
It
office.
did really well, but I thought it was horrible. I just did not find anything appealing about it whatsoever.
Well, the big mistake of the character, which is odd because it's the one thing they didn't change in the revision, was they said that the creepiest thing about that rendering, eye sizes aside and the legs being too long and all that kind of stuff, the creepiest thing about that character rendering was the human teeth, and they left the human teeth in the design for the movie. So
It didn't take away. I mean, it felt like you were watching Sonic, but I just didn't enjoy the plot or anything. Although Jim Carrey, I will say
I was going to ask about that. How
he's
do you do?
brilliant at everything he does, and he did do a good job as whatever
Dr.
Roboto or whatever the hell. his name is.
Robotnik?
Robotnik, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he did a good job as that. It actually was pretty funny.
I always get Dr. Robotnik and Dr. Wily confused because it's like, wait a minute. Well, Dr. Wily makes robots and Dr. Robotnik just harasses Sonic. So,
Prime Syndicate says, I am now besties with a guy at the American grocery store bonded over double chocolate moon pie. Thanks for the microwave trick. Full service retroblasting.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, is all moon pie all the
Related
time.
things. Melinda made some chocolate cake, and
I did. You know what?
it is
Can I tell you something?
good.
It's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake.
Oh my God, here we go. I should have kept my mouth shut.
If you do the cookie by the book.
so after
You know
super,
you
so
can't be
so
lazy.
let's tackle one of the elephants in the video game movie legacy, which
What?
happened. Well, it happened right after Super Mario Brothers, which started everything off on the wrong foot completely. Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Okay, so Street Fighter comes the next year because you have this trifecta, one after another. You have 93 Super Mario Brothers, 94 Street Fighter, 95 Mortal Kombat. 1994's Street Fighter. You see the trailer, and what were your thoughts?
I actually did not want to see that, and I did not go see it in the theater.
See, it's making him tired even now
Yes,
just to
sorry.
hear the name of the movie.
I could have cared less at the time.
I didn't hear the
Yeah.
question, so I was reading.
When you saw the preview for Street Fighter,
tell
the
me-
movie, what did you think?
I didn't see the preview.
Did you close your eyes?
What's bad is they had really good
No, I
actors,
just-
though.
Is this the new movie?
No,
I mean,
the
Van
early- the
Damme,
first one.
arguably. But I mean,
never
they had
seen it.
Kylie. They
Like
had,
the
what's his
preview.
name is?
Raul Julia.
I mean, he's great. He was great.
Yeah, they had Ming Na Wen.
Yes. So it's like,
I
My
saw the movie with Michael like a while back. We
You
watched
just never
it.
saw a preview for it.
I didn't know that it existed until we watched it that day.
I remember thinking at first two major things when I saw the trailer. The first thing I thought sitting in the theater seeing the trailer was, why is this suddenly a paramilitary action movie when it's supposed to be like Enter the Dragon? Like, because
Or Bloodsport.
or Bloodsport. All of those have this the quest with Jean-Claude Van Damme. All of those have the same idea. Secret
I
tournament.
think you may have just said why Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, the second thing I thought was, why is Guile the main character? Because Street Fighter, the main character in the original arcade game was Ryu.
Yes.
And then in the second game, he's back with the guy he fought at the end, Ken. And he's still trying to, win the next tournament. I'm like, why is Ryu sidelined in this movie for this? And I get it that there's like this cult of Guile that's come from that game. I don't get it. Yeah, he's a playable character, but you don't see like, the cult of Dalsum or the cult of E Honda. It's Guile.
Then we got that horrible Chun-Li movie.
That was years later.
It was, but it was still horrible. I mean,
Michael Hinkson says, Aaron sounds great now. So
thank you
for the.
We did get a horrible Chun-Li movie with the girl from Smallville, but that was literally like 12 years later.
But I'm saying they couldn't get it right the first time, and they sure as hell didn't do any better the next time.
No, that's true. But wasn't that that wasn't even a sequel. That was like a reboot, wasn't it?
I don't even know. It wasn't even a tournament. It wasn't even a paramilitary. It literally was just about the Christian recruit girl.
Dudes hanging out.
And it was just about the guy who played Bison was like some kind of magical American guy who lived in China, but apparently existed there forever or something. And everybody spoke English.
That sounds like an X-Men.
It is beyond weird and horrible.
So KB says, so are we going to talk about the movie Pixels? And we did sort of talk about it.
Okay.
We have to.
I have to say this.
More?
If you haven't, here's the drinking game. If you haven't seen the Red Letter Media review of Pixels and all of Adam Sandler's movies, I highly suggest that you watch them and understand what a scam all of his Adam Sandler produced movies are, where he overinflates the budget to pay all of his friends, and it turns out like basically heavy ad, like lots of like product placement, like Moon Pie, but like they actually are getting paid, unlike us. Hey, you're standing right in front of the camera.
Crap. Look at the red.
And so
he got it for a reason.
Oh, he did.
He's looking for something.
Melinda said drinking game, so Michael had to get up.
I guess so. But yeah, so Pixels, I listened to them talk about, I've never seen the movie, but I listened to their review of it, and they talk about how one interesting thing was how miserable Adam Sandler looks in the movie and how lazy the movie is in terms of premise and story. And they did say the one good thing about it was that the effects look pretty good.
I was fixing to say, I think that's why. I think
because
the
any
budget
money they had
eaten
went into that.
To the effects, because I will say the effects were freaking amazing.
Yeah, they do look good, but it's funny that like they were talking about, because Adam Sandler and his friends literally are just standing around. Like there's a shot where he's like supposed to be shooting, and he looks like he's just going like this.
And it is him, and he does look about.
And then all of the special effects shots are done by like he's like, somebody will do that in the post. Like,
but
that's all done.
The Dinklage character was by far the most entertaining part of that movie.
Okay.
And he was hilarious in that movie, the way you would expect him to be hilarious, especially the part where what his price was to have some time alone with the tennis player and Martha Stewart in the Lincoln bedroom in the White House. And I thought that was funny, especially how it was handled.
I had to watch that movie 300 times at once on an airplane flight that was like 13. Every single seat in front of me was watching Pixels at a different point in the movie.
You know what's funny? I had
like
that with Batman versus Superman.
Oh my god.
It was just
so
like,
sorry.
oh my god.
No.
Yeah, it was.
I would rather watch Pixels than that movie.
I feel like I might.
I would rather watch
I was
Pixels.
Just like,
yeah.
And I was on the plane with like a 2-year-old that I couldn't, my daughter and I were flying back.
Chuck out of the.
No, I couldn't. No, but the thing is that means you can't just like drink 7 drinks and go to sleep on the plane because you have to take care of a person.
I'll take your word.
It was like I just had to watch this Pixels, and then every once in a while, whatever other movie was on at the time.
Wicked Person says, so vital question, in a Legend of Zelda movie, should Link talk or not?
Oh, that's a good
Yeah, I feel like
question.
it's really hard to do a movie where your main character doesn't talk.
No,
Except for Fury Road.
here's what Hollywood will do with the Link movie. The Link character won't talk the whole time, and they'll hire Josh Gad to play the fairy, and the fairy's just going to be like, "Hey, hey, hey,
How do you feel about coming with me today?
hey,
Probably.
hey."
It'll just be the snowman
Yeah.
all over again.
See, I did not. That's a movie I didn't watch. I've never
Frozen?
watched Frozen.
Yeah.
I can't.
Space Monkey Mafia says it doesn't get enough attention, but I wanted to point out the Max Payne movie was awful. The movie turned me off from playing the game anymore.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
terrible. That game used to make
That's
the
funny.
first time I played
Like
that game, I
Hitman?
laughed so hard. It's just like when he
Yeah.
picked up the Tylenol and it was like the pills will ease the pain. And I was like, so funny.
Yeah, I heard the movie on that was really bad. But so we were talking about what was it, Street Fighter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about Street Fighter. I remember thinking like, why Guile? And then I go see the movie with my friends, and this won't surprise anybody here, but I was the only one that knew who Kylie Minogue was, and I was shocked that she was in the movie, and I was like, because I was staring for a minute,
The
going,
best thing ever.
I was like, that can't be, and then I'm like, it is, and I'm like, awesome, and then that was the only thing that kept my butt in the seat.
That is the most wholesome, awesome I've heard anyone say in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, it was like legit.
Yeah, I was just like, and the movie was so bad, and I'm going, no, I'm gonna sit here because Kylie's in the movie, and oh wow, she has a bazooka in one scene, like but the movie
How much
was.
popcorn did you eat?
I
All of it.
no, I was actually eating those.
Oh, was it Milk Duds?
Was those Nestle Crunch?
Oh, the clusters.
The clusters. The
Yeah.
Nestle.
Yeah.
Oh
Loves the
dear,
Nestle
those will make your
Crunch.
tummy hurt.
They yeah.
Did you have? What did you drink with it?
It was like a
Just a
really
Pepsi?
big.
Good
It was
Lord,
it was a
man.
'90s Coke or Pepsi in a big cup or whatever.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Ray Jedi says a bit of trivia. Pokemon is the highest earning media franchise of all time.
I believe
Also,
that.
Really?
thoughts on Detective Pikachu?
Wow.
Detective Pikachu was
Oh.
fine, but it wasn't what I thought. Like it wasn't as funny as I expected it to be.
No, it
Was it
actually tried to.
serious?
It tried to be serious.
It tried to
What?
be very.
It tried to
serious.
be very
And
serious.
it wasn't terrible.
especially at the end.
It's watchable.
Yeah, there's some sad moments. The
Yeah.
whole dad thing.
I wanted them to do more with the two guys that were trying to collect the Pokemon in the field. I felt like that was good.
Yeah, that was
The
pretty
whole
funny.
like,
Oh no! Run!
yeah,
Run!
no, it was
So,
actually pretty funny.
Quick question: was Pikachu the baby Yoda of the early aughts?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Everybody, America loved Pikachu.
I feel like everybody
Yeah.
loved it, but I didn't know what it was. And I
All you
just
have to
remember
do is
being
go
like,
Pikachu, and everybody's like, Ooh.
See, my kids were the right age for Pokemon, so I had to watch with my boys. All Pokemon Saturday morning was like everything.
But
that was
Pikachu
the show.
was runaway the most popular amongst, especially Muggles that weren't into
I
Pokemon
guess.
as much. It was just a cute little doodad that ran around and made. It was the only one that had the screen time to get that.
Well,
kind
he
of
never went in the
attention.
Pokeball, right? Like he was the only Pokemon.
Not
that
him, but they've
he
caught
didn't
other
get
Pikachu.
to go to the ball. Did he not have a fairy godmother?
I don't
Yeah.
think he liked them or something like that. I don't know what it was. So
Different
I
kind of
don't
ball.
know.
I don't know.
Not a dancing ball.
But to be fair, there was not Detective Pikachu, but a Pokemon movie on my TV when I left for the live stream this morning because my kids were watching it. So it's still going strong.
Yeah.
And they play the video games to bring it back to games.
Wolfie says, ye old Simpsons reference, the parodied video games Bone Storm. So tell your folks to buy Bone Storm or go to hell. Escape from death row. Hit the change of venue button. Oh no, you're in Texas. That's actually really funny. Yeah, so
And then we had Mortal Kombat, which I know we've kind of already
Yeah.
touched on. We've kind of talked about that.
The first one was very true to the game. The second
Right.
one, I don't know what happened.
Well, the first one though is, I think the indication that the first one was successful, undeniably, was the fact that not only was the movie well received at the time, but the soundtrack sold out
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So if your soundtrack is selling in the same numbers as the Dirty Dancing soundtrack was, you've pretty much made it as a movie in your time. Now, you don't even have to worry about it if you become a dated movie later. Like, you succeeded when it was important, so you get to carry that trophy with you for the rest of your existence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adrian says, Michael, you're awesome.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that, Adrian.
Anything in particular you like about Michael, or just kidding?
It's his hair. I know.
I like his right ear.
What is going
I
on?
am also. a fan
Look,
of
I
his
am. It is
I'll
allergy
take a
season here in
different-
No, you
Georgia.
can have- you can like
The
some
pollen
things
is a blowing, and my allergies are killing me. And I've taken allergy medicine, and I'm a little loopy right now. I apologize. I'm feeling.
Ooh, it's have fun with Tim Day.
It is. Wow, I am struggling right now with the allergy
on it.
medicine.
It was the acid you took right before.
Maybe
that.
that's
Oh
what it
my
was.
gosh.
Just kidding.
Usually
That is
the
a
acid
joke.
doesn't do
You know what'll
anything.
clear that right up for you is a nice warm moon pie.
I've
So
heard
now,
that Tums can help with acid.
Oh, that's
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
so now that we're into the late
Tom,
90s,
Tom.
Stomach
I'm trying desperately, people, to keep this
I'm
on
sorry.
track.
Go for it. I'm
So
So
now
what
that
comes after Mortal Kombat, Michael?
I think in the late 90s, we start to get, maybe going into the early aughts, we get the Resident Evil movies, right?
Yes.
Oh, if only we'd have brought those up.
Well, we just did.
Oh, that's good planning.
Okay. So I played a lot of Resident Evil in college, Resident Evil 1 and 2. Then these movies get announced. What? I don't remember when the first one was. It was sometime right at the turn of the
Yes.
century. Did you guys see these movies?
Kinda.
I did not go to the movies. To
Is that
see
the one
it.
with Umbrella,
didn't
or
s-
am I getting that confused with something else?
That's
Umbrella Corporation.
Yes.
Yes, that's. The,
Yeah, those are just shoot 'em up. I say just, but they.
You're talking about the Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
Jovovich.
Movie
I think she's cool.
franchise.
I think Mila Jovovich is the bee's knees.
Oh, I think
but,
she is too,
But the movie felt like it promised a lot more than we got in terms of story. And
don't watch her latest one, the monster thing.
Oh, I haven't.
I did.
Okay.
It's
But
not,
that's
go.
not Resident Evil.
kind of feels like it.
Well, yeah, but it's not officially Resident Evil. Stop mixing issues. We're talking about Resident Evil. Did you
Hey,
and
he's a
Does
little
she
loopy.
wear
We're
black leather and kick a lot of people?
good. A
A lot of monsters.
Yeah.
So pretty much Resident Evil.
So did you watch Ultraviolet?
I own Ultraviolet, actually. I own that DVD.
I did actually, while you were still upstairs, talk about Resident Evil. It was
Yeah.
one of the first ones I talked about.
Okay.
Was the video game. I have not seen the movies because I felt from the outset, and this was before I even knew you and became as much of a film snob as I am.
At least she
I
knows
could
that.
literally look at those movies and just go, "This is never going to be as scary as that game." Because I was talking about how scary that game was. Like it really, part of it was the time. Like it was just that whole console and the way those types of video games looked on the PS2 was like a new thing that was to us at the time. It doesn't look realistic now, but at the time, it was very immersive and very realistic.
They nailed the atmosphere.
Yeah,
So
the
you ended
music
up-
and the sound effects and the
Well, I mean, it
everything.
opens up
was
and you're in
just-
that smoky town. This is the PS2 game,
Mhm.
and the first thing you got to do is go like explore like a school, like a children's school.
Yeah, it's
So it's already
creepy.
hitting all these little points that already make you edgy and worried the whole time. And then that wall crawler, I'll never forget that first wall crawler in the game that just kind of across the room. And I was like through the controller. I was like, oh my goodness gracious.
I literally screamed. I screamed when that thing came on the screen the first time, and my upstairs neighbor, who hated me anyway because I was all the time screaming, he was just
Wait.
hanging on the
Well,
well, because I would watch stuff and
Ladies
I
and gentlemen,
would get,
Melinda's a banshee.
I would like. I remember the first time I watched, and it was in the middle of the night, and I was watching Cartoon Network
And that
and
scared
Brack and like everything, and it was just so surreal and crazy. I was like screaming, laughing, and he was like, "Shut up!" He hated me, but yeah. Anyway, so Michael Hinkson says Battleship should have been set during World War II or Korea and been a cat and mouse game, and using the grid from the game for targeting. That would have been awesome.
a cat and mouse movie
Yeah.
using the
Well,
grid
yeah.
from the game for targeting? Yes, that would have been the way to go. So of course Hollywood doesn't do that because they're like, oh no, we've got to do something totally
so we got
wacky.
aliens.
I know, and confess, Tim, confess.
He will freely confess.
I freely confess, I actually like that movie. It's a great pew pew shoot 'em up.
That game looks kind of fun.
I mean, and what other movie actually has real veterans? Like they went and go, you know what? We're
Pearl
going to actually
Harbor.
have real.
Oh,
No, these were real World War II veterans and Desert Storm and Afghanistan veterans that had limbs on that they put in the movie because they wanted real military people in the movie.
You're saying World War II veterans were in the movie Battleship.
and other,
Absolutely,
other
yes.
conflicts.
For what?
For when they had to go get the Missouri,
Oh, see, okay.
they didn't
They
have
didn't
enough
know
crew.
how to start it. So these
Yeah,
old
he's
heads
like, I don't
showed
know how
up.
to start this.
That
And
was
all these
actually a
old
really
vets
cool
walk
scene.
up and they're like, he's like, look, you've done enough for your country. And they're like, what do you need, son? And then when you see these old World War II veterans kick alien ass on their old battleship, you're like, yeah.
Okay, all right, fair
It
enough.
has its moments.
It
I
does.
shoulder surfed that. I was actually on an airplane again, coming back from like Oregon or something, and the guy to the right of me had a laptop, and he was watching that on his laptop. So I was over there like casually eating a thing, being like, "Is this movie as bad as I think it is?" But I do remember that scene that you're talking about.
It's a great scene.
Whether you like it or not, it tugs on those heartstrings.
Yes,
You see
it
those guys
does.
run in there, fire up their old engines,
Yep.
and show these kids how it's done. It has that feel to it.
All right.
Listen here, you little whippersnapper.
And actually, that's a line in the movie. You see this old War II
I've
vet,
never seen
and
it.
the kid runs in who's a new Navy guy, and he's like, son, he's like, sir, and he's just standing there. He's like, what the hell you doing? Get your ass on the spotter. You know, I mean, you're just like, yeah. And it's a real vet. It's acting. You're just like, you got to love that.
So those are real veterans.
They are, look it up. They're
Okay,
real veterans.
okay.
Jason
okay.
Eatman says, sorry I am late, but I do not remember the Moon Pie video game or movie.
I don't either. I don't even know.
You know what?
I don't.
It's super rare
I don't know why this is on the table.
because
Melinda
Moon
has
pies-
lost her mind.
Oh, no. Here
Ladies
we
and
go
gentlemen, this
again.
is not true. Everything you're about to hear is not true, except for that she's reading it off the box.
The
Moon pies
calories
are made
surprise
with
me.
real sugar, you guys.
But the calories surprise me. I'm actually surprised at how many
but how
calories
much
are in a
is
moon
a
pie.
serving?
One's pie is a serving, and
All
it's 220 calories.
And that's not
This
bad.
is the
That's not
this is
bad.
the vacuum cleaner of this live stream.
It's vitamin enriched, you guys.
No
It's
kidding.
vitamin enriched.
You don't say.
It's like Ovaltine.
That's, yeah.
More Ovaltine, please.
You know, there's a great story on the back of the box. I don't want to spoil it for you, but if you can get your hands on one of these big boxes, it's got the full story of how these were
Oh, my.
created. So great, very informative,
So
and
again,
delicious.
a game that I would like to see a movie adaptation of. Do you guys remember Daggerfall from the late '90s? Or
Daggerfall?
Yes, I remember Daggerfall.
I did
that
not know
game
that
has
one.
the thing Michael was talking about. It had sounds that I will never forget because they used the stock audio that you hear in movies and TV shows to this day of like wooden door creaking opening. And so you're in this dungeon and it'd be like every time the door opened. And I remember my college roommate would play that game till 3 or 4 in the morning.
He was
I'm laying there
dreaming
trying
about
to
it.
sleep, and all I'd hear is the horse going, and then I would hear,
It's so
and the
funny
bat
when
would
you're
go,
having to hear someone else play a video game, and it's just like I had this boyfriend who played. I don't know. You guys will know. There was a video game. It was a computer-based game, and this would have been in the early aughts that he played it, but it might have been older. And it would sit there and it would go, "Terraform complete, terraform complete."
That's StarCraft, isn't it?
Terraform
Is it?
That
complete,
sounds
just
like
over.
StarCraft.
That
I
does
was
not
like, but
sound like
I
StarCraft.
literally couldn't
More
figure
pylons.
out like
Yeah.
what it was saying.
More
pylons.
pylons.
And so whatever I thought it was saying, I kept going, what does that mean? He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And finally I figured it out. He was like, oh no, they're saying terraform complete. I'm like, yeah, because that's a word I use in my everyday language.
What should be.
Okay, what is the video game phrase from like any video game? You got to think about all the games. Which video game shout out phrase in the game do you think you've heard the most on, because the hours you play?
Hadouken!
Okay.
I'm still thinking.
All right.
You?
My-
Oh, we know.
I have two contenders for the audio articulation or whatever that I've heard the most, or inflection or whatever. One contender,
They're coming for you.
they found me.
Fire trucks.
I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty.
Look, Michael, the firemen are gonna get you.
Yeah. So I have two up in the air. One is Rogue Squadron, where's our cover? Which I've probably heard a bazillion times. And then the other one is aha, which is every time Lara would find like a med pack or something. She had that same sound effect in the first 5 games.
Oh, but wait a minute. What's the new game you've been playing? The
Horizon?
Japanese feudal.
Oh, Ghost of Tsushima.
What is it that the guys kept saying that we were laughing so hard about every time you would see them or they would see you?
Well, one guy would be like, "Whoa!" and then you go walking,
Moni?
and you go walking up.
So funny.
Yeah, for me, it's probably something out of Fallout 4 because I've played
Mhm.
that game a lot more than I'm comfortable with because it's just it's a fun game to just wander around and turn things over and be like, oh look, an old book, and
Right.
just sort of explore, and then I got to fight an ogre thing. So, but it was probably something that the Wastelanders yell when I show up. It's not always the same thing, and it's usually something I can't scream on a live stream.
Actually, I know
They cuss in
something that I've heard more than anything else. Low power. Does anybody know what that's from?
Is that the Command
Command and Conquer. Yes, low power.
Mine has to be like a computer game
Oh, I
that
gotta
was
build
like
another
a
generator.
Monty Python like dumb CD-ROM game from like the 90s because I shared a computer with another human who actually thought it was funny, and he installed this thing that had like all the sound effects from the game so that as you're trying to type, it would like
Randomly
fart
do
at
things.
you, and it would say stuff like, I'm not dead. I feel fine. I feel happy.
That's not a game. That's just an experience.
No, but it was also in the dumb game.
Yeah.
But then it would like do that, and I'm like sitting there
That's pretty
typing
funny.
like college papers that were like really depressing topics and stuff, and it's like
Your mother reeks of elderberry.
that.
Oh, I've thought of a third contender. See if you can figure this one out. Remember what game this is from. Mein Leben.
Oh, that's Wolfenstein 3D.
Yes.
There you go.
Nerds. Wicked Person says, not enough
Don't judge
PC
us.
game adaptation. The aforementioned Sierra Online Quest games, Half-Life, Maniac Mansion, Monkey Island, Duke Nukem 3D.
Well, right. These are
Quest for
these
Glory.
are games that could be adapted into good stories, movies, television shows. But it seems like the ones that get ported over to consoles or start on consoles like PlayStation and Nintendo have more visibility. Therefore, Hollywood is like, because Hollywood doesn't want to do anything that they don't think is a sure thing. They've forgotten that all the ideas we love were unknown ideas back in the day.
Warcraft being the odd man out there,
Right.
due to the fact that it was such a runaway hit.
Yeah. So like, as cool as a Legend of Kyrandia movie would be, they're never going to make a Legend of Kyrandia movie because it was a PC CD-ROM game.
I do hope that they make us. It just went out of my head. I hope they make an Oregon Trail.
Oh.
Oh, that would be a fun
And
one
then
to
I
have
hope
the
that
Then
rock.
everybody would die
I
of
hope that
dysentery.
it has the tone of the Revenant. Like it needs to be like
Oh,
really
yeah, really.
serious.
Really?
grungy,
Yeah.
real grungy.
Because I
and dark.
don't know why, but when you said I want an Oregon Trail movie, the first person I thought of on the buckboard with a hat on and a beard and a mustache starring in this movie, seriously?
Oh, we know.
No. Who did you think I'm going to say?
Val Kilmer.
Nope. What?
From
What?
Tombstone.
No. He's already done his Western
I
thing.
thought The Rock first until she said the Revenant theme. Then I thought that would be another fun way to take
Yeah,
it.
but I don't know if it should be that dark. But for some reason, when you're basing a whole movie around a famous meme, now it's a meme, but it was a game that we all grew up with in the 80s. I think one of the main guys driving the wagon train should be David Hasselhoff in a way, like just
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
want to actually like see someone dying of dysentery.
No,
That's what
why
I'm saying.
would you want to
Everybody
see
would
that?
die from dysentery. That's
like,
the whole game.
Like we need to like hear them, like see them go
No.
behind the wagon, and you just hear them having like diarrhea for
And you just hear them
hours.
going,
like,
"Arr!" and then they die.
This is
what's
horrible.
what's the one from Golden Axe?
yeah.
And then they're all dusted.
Ding, ding, ding.
you have to have somebody like a Christian Bale who's gonna like be willing to like
Oh, he
get
goes
really
full
skinny.
method.
Oh my god, I
He
can only
actually gets
imagine being
dysentery.
around him.
I think that would be amazing. Christian Bale actually gets dysentery for the movie.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
probably
Exactly.
would.
He's out there like, I already did that for the machinist.
Master Son says, if you say something bad about Resident Evil and Michelle, she is a goddess Rodriguez, we will have a problem.
Nope, left her alone.
You know what's funny, Master Son? We didn't say anything bad about Resident Evil the game series, but you just put that in our head by saying that we shouldn't.
Now I
Uh,
want
I
to say
can't.
something bad, but I don't know who Michelle Rodriguez
Uh,
is.
Fast and Furious.
Oh, your favorite, Fast and Furious.
SWAT.
Another one of those.
Yeah, I mean
SWAT, where they land a passenger jet on a highway.
Exactly.
I've seen it.
She was a major character in there.
That's true.
What else was she in? She's in a lot of things.
She's good.
Was
You haven't listed a movie I've seen, so
Well, I mean, that does not surprise me.
no.
So
Me and Aaron have that in common.
oh, so we're still talking. All right, so because we're still on the show.
Well, King Eric says, Michael et al. What do you think of the D&D movie currently in production? Will it suck like the aughts one or not?
Here's the problem with D&D.
Oh.
Unless you
Big
are
problem.
doing something like Ravenloft, Dragonlance, or Forgotten Realms, you do not have an actual concrete mythology. I know some people say that D&D has a mythology, but point it out to me and show me where it's consistent, because it's not.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And that movie was horrible.
Yeah, that movie was bad. It had a follow-up
And
that
what's
was
bad
bad.
is they had some good actors. And what's his name? The main bad guy. I mean, he's a great actor.
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, and
I particularly liked him in the Watchmen limited series on HBO.
I've never watched that one.
He made a very good character.
Dungeons and Dragons is going to have to really level up its plotting.
I don't know that it's a movie. I think it would lend itself more to a Friday the 13th series of multiple different stories that don't necessarily tie together, kind of.
D&D has never they've tried that with books too, right? They've tried to make D&D campaigns into novels.
Yes.
Okay.
It's good to have your own adventures, but not necessarily make a story that you put on a film.
I have a couple that have already fallen off. So
I'm sorry.
World Made of Cardboard says Resident Evil never played the game, but saw the first movie. Was that hallway with the cutting lasers in the game? Was the movie close to the game?
That I can't answer. I didn't.
I didn't. The game I played, and I don't recall any lasers in a hallway with. I don't recall cutting lasers.
I don't remember getting to the Umbrella Corporation security system, the grid, to try to get into it in the game that I played. I just remember being out in the town trying to figure out.
Again, it's been almost 20 years since I played the game. So
this is true. I was younger and stupider.
Master Son says, Tim, Transformers had real military members in it. Still sucked. By the way, what is everyone's t-shirt sizes? We will tell you in the after show, but we don't want to say that here. It's just a lot. It's a lot.
We get like bucket loads of t-shirts. Ah!
It's like a t-shirt gun.
Someone just stands out in the front yard.
Okay, let me see if I've gotten back to where we actually can see the chats again. Donald Gracie just gives us $5. Boom.
Thank you, Donald.
Thank you.
Wicked Person says, kids playing Oregon Trail on the Apple IIe in my classroom. I have a broken leg. Why the F? That's not fair. What's dysentery? I want an AK. I assume
Sad
he means
but true.
Oregon Trail.
Yeah, I assume he means in my classroom. He means like now.
I hacked all of those games
Not
in our
when
school.
he was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, you put the little piece of Scotch tape over the floppy, break, and then I would hack into the game and change all of the text and then save it.
Wow.
Pretty funny. That's a slow burn.
Yeah.
So did all three of you play Oregon Trail?
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course. And where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Did you guys play Big
I
Rig
played
Trucker?
that, but that's from the cartoon.
That the song is, but
song
it was a
is.
game first. Yeah.
I know. I played the game.
Yeah.
I didn't play Oregon Trail. Never heard of it.
Communist.
You need to go get a copy of that TRS right there.
Carmen Sandiego, I played all the time.
That was a
but
fun game.
never heard of the cartoon. And so when people would like hear, oh yeah, and they would sing that song to me, I'm like, that's not in the game. And they're like, yeah, it's Carmen Sandiego.
Do you not
I'm
know
like,
Rockapella?
Yeah, it was Rockapella saying that.
That sounds awful.
Have you
It was.
seen the new Carmen Sandiego cartoon on Netflix?
No.
It's been about a year since it came out. There's about 2 seasons. It's got a different feel. It's more noir, a little more aggressive cartoon style. But the girls watched it.
Aggressive cartoon style.
Yeah, it's just a little more action filled. But it still has kind of a conscience.
So
to
you're
it.
not using your little geography book that
You
came
didn't do
with
that
the
in the other
game that like
cartoon.
literally like looked it up.
You didn't do that in the other show either.
Well, that's just the whole thing.
That's
It's
what you
like
did in the
literally-
game when you played it. Though.
We didn't have the book. We actually had to just
use the encyclopedias in the classroom.
And we were in the library.
I still had the little the book.
How
that
would
came
you
with it.
do that?
You would go pick
literally
up a
use
book
encyclopedias. Yeah, I mean,
That's actually kind of better.
It is.
I'm sure it is, but it's.
I had the dumb book.
Yeah,
Like the
never
flags
had the
and the...
book.
Did you guys ever play Big Rig Trucker?
No,
No, but I've
No.
seen AVGN's review.
it sounds
of it.
amazing.
It's a
though.
logistics kind of game
I was
where
fixing to say, it
you
sounds
are
amazing.
you're given a certain amount of money and you get a load to put on your truck, and then you have to budget for tires and gas, and then you go down the road and have to deal. It's like Oregon Trail. You have to provision and then go the distance. And then you stop over the night at like a diner and get a hotel room, and you have to. Make
That's
it
like
work.
roller coaster
But it's
tycoon.
And you have to
level
file
thing.
expense reports and pay
It's
taxes.
all-
It's great.
It was a lot. Okay, oddly, it was a lot of fun back in the early '90s when there wasn't much else going on.
You know what you'd enjoy is being an administrative assistant.
Have you ever tried being an accountant? It's a blast.
Have you ever tried doing your taxes? Because it's tax season.
Now you can do them every day for fun.
Beta Ray Bob says, sorry if this has already been mentioned and I missed it, but DOA Dead or Alive, 40% martial arts action and 40% fan service plus 20% plot equals 100% MST3K riffing potential.
Yeah, you've got a fighting game turned into a fighting movie starring Jamie Presley and who else was in that?
Oh,
Oh yes.
Needs more taxes.
More logistics. More logistics.
I love logistics. UPS.
And flat
Because that
tires.
would have made Enter the Dragon a better movie if Bruce Lee gets to the island and they're like, "We don't have your hotel reservation, Mr. Lee. Oh, my assistant screwed up." You know?
They type for like 20 minutes. And
Yeah.
go, no, I don't see it here.
But then they pan down and
You
it's just
tell
a
them
log.
that Axl Rose
Yeah.
of Rolling Stone.
Wicked
What?
Person says we all desperately
Couldn't
wanted
be
to.
Michael Jackson.
We all desperately wanted to see the D&D Dragonlance animated movie with Kiefer Sutherland because the books are memorable. The movie wasn't.
Was that the? Yeah, that was the animated one, which I never bothered to watch. I wanted a live action one, and I truly believe that even though revisiting those books is kind of painful, the movie potential of them, if they were, fully realized, I think could be very effective. Unlike the Shannara stuff that they totally,
You read my mind. I
Yeah.
was so fixing to go there.
yeah.
No.
So,
Rush Patel says, what do you guys think of the Silent Hill movie and game?
don't hate me for this. I think that horror video games are very effective, like Resident Evil, Silent Hill.
Jan?
The problem is that the barrier to entry for horror movies has become so low because it's like we're just going to get some moody atmosphere and some jump scares, and
We got a
Yes.
movie.
I just don't think that
I think it's clear to all of you. I get those two games confused sometimes. Silent Hill and Resident Evil. 'Cause I played them both around the same time, and I know they're very different. So don't hate.
Silent Hill's way more brutal, I think, than
Yeah.
Resident Evil, especially in the movie.
No, I think the games are excellent. It's the movie adaptation is like a layup in certain ways.
Which of those is the one getting the new game that's coming to PS5 that everybody's really freaking out about, excited about? Because it's like 60 frames per second, 4K, HDR, really amazing graphics from what we've seen. So
I don't
I
know.
hate to be a stickler, but due to the time
Yeah,
and the
we're-
number of boxes,
We've
that
got a
you
lot
have.
of boxes, but I also have a few more super chats.
Go
Can
do
we
that while
finish
I'm going to
these?
clear the table.
Michael, you have to stay.
stay.
Oh,
Somebody's going
okay.
to answer these questions. So Donald says you practically need an engineering degree to transform the toys based on the War for Cybertron game.
Yeah, the War for Cybertron Transformers I've heard are very complex for sure.
Rush Patel says, Melinda, any recommendations on a blender? No, I don't. I actually, I really wanted the really, really expensive, can't even think of the name of it right now, blender, but didn't get it. So someone actually gave me an older KitchenAid that I am using. Oh my gosh. I know I have a bunch more. Here we go. JSP says, one game I wouldn't mind seeing as a movie is the overlooked Strife from 1996.
Oh, interesting. I have a few games like that, like Crusader No Remorse. I thought that would be a great. I thought Crusader No Remorse would have been a great movie, but they're never going to make that either. It's just too. It's not a sure thing for them. Apparently, Battleship is, but a really cool
I would
game.
love to know the story of how that got made into a movie. Do you know?
What?
Battleship.
I don't know the story. Hasbro wants to be a movie studio so desperately they're pulling out all the stops on everything.
Michael Hinkson says, I'm watching Michael's head going back and forth, listening to Tim and Aaron like a tennis match. So it's kind of like Pong in that way, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Guildford says, Soulless Accountant RPG The Musical by Tom York.
Oh my gosh.
I don't get that, but Aaron
That's
does. so-
Radiohead.
Radiohead. Okay.
Lead singer of Radiohead.
Got it. So, okay. Fade to Black says, one game that I always wanted a movie or other type of expansion but did not get was Zork.
I loved that game.
I
Specifically,
only remember Zork in name. I never actually played the game.
It was actually really good in the era before graphics.
It makes me think of Mark and Mindy.
It shouldn't,
Not like that.
but it was
one.
very quirky. There was a lot of like dry humor built into. It was more you had to type everything you wanted to do, and the way that it reacted to some of your requests was frequently very humorous. Hang on, I gotta find your freezer blade.
Vitamix. Yes, Brian Stevenson. Vitamix is the blender that I really wanted, but I
Will
didn't
it
get.
blend?
It's quite. And Food Ninja is the second pick. So yes, thank you for. Memory is not what it used to be. I don't know why people are screaming Joust, but there's a lot of Joust talk in the. Maybe people want a Joust movie. Do you guys
Probably.
really think that a Joust movie would be good?
I think if it was done as a comedy, it'd have to be a comedy.
It would have to be a Jumanji toned movie, right?
It would also have to be CG animated entirely. You wouldn't want to have any human actors in it because then it would just look
What
really
if you did it like
janky.
The Revenant?
I
Really?
think so. I think all movies. I've never actually even seen that movie.
I haven't either.
I actually know that real story of the real guy that The Revenant is based on.
Well, that's because you're so well educated.
No. it's
So
because
I,
was Richard Dollop.
I decided since we have Rad here in the
Right, did you
in the
get it?
collection that we might want to talk about BMX movies at some point on the channel. So I found myself a mint copy of Nicole Kidman's first movie, BMX Bandits, and we now have that in the studio as part of the library.
Fantastic.
All right.
I moved myself right off frame.
Next up, we have, this is for you, Aaron. It says RetroBlasting, care of Aaron Harper.
What?
Yeah. Do you want a blade?
Don't give him sharp things.
Yes, I do. I'm frequently not allowed to have these.
That's not good.
So I'm so glad I have one, whether it's needed or not.
I just realized that I didn't send Tim Ward the
Flatland.
Flatland.
Yes, it's an excellent book. I was talking to Scott earlier this week, and we were talking books, and he asked me if I had read this, and I had not. So thank you very much. I will definitely read this. I should be able to get through it, so we'll see. I've heard nothing but good things.
Hopefully the words are not too big.
Oh, no, it's mine now.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. Here you go. I'll
Thanks.
Get the ball rolling. Oh, wow, it's you.
All right. So right here is a box from Reclaimers Vintage Toys. So this is from our good friend Matt
Swafford. So
I'm wondering what.
It's always such a cool toy.
thanks.
Gospel group. The Reclaimers. Comedy's a risk, folks. Comedy. You just got to roll with it. Win some, you lose.
Come on.
Come on.
What is going on here?
What is that rectangle?
This is a movie called Extreme Prejudice on Blu-ray.
It's
Nick
It's
Nolte in a
Nick
film
Nolte
by
in
Walter
a film
Hill.
by Walter Hill.
I'm having to read it through the German
because
because it's a German
it's a
DVD
German
of it.
DVD of it.
But from what I've heard about this movie,
But from what I've
Mario
heard about this
Kassar
movie,
and Andrew Vajna, who are
oh,
the guys
Mario
who
Kassar
produced
and Andrew
First Blood
Vajna,
and
who
all the
are
Rambo
the
films.
guys who produced
So
First
this is,
Blood and all the
oh.
Rambo films.
Yeah,
So
this is from the guys that
um,
did all the Rambo movies.
Yeah, this
I've
is from
heard
the
about
guys
this.
that
This
did
is
all the
a,
Rambo movies. I've heard about this. This
a
is
forgotten 80s
uh,
action film that's
forgotten
supposed to be
80s action
amazing.
film.
Mike
That's
wears
supposed to
two
be
belts, which
amazing.
means he means
Mike
business.
wears
Michael
two belts, which
Ironsides
means
is in it. Powers
Michael
Booth,
Ironsides,
Clancy
Powers
Brown,
Booth,
William
Clancy
Forsythe,
Brown,
Rip
William-
Torn, music by Jerry Goldsmith,
Wow.
story by John Milius, who wrote Conan, and this movie looks amazing, dude. Thank you so much, Matt. This is awesome.
What's the cover?
The cover's a dude with a pump action shotgun.
That he's aiming.
I don't remember this.
Oh man, this is going to be great. And then, oh no, wait. This, Aaron, would you mind opening the case right next to you?
I would love to.
Okay. And do you see the one action figure on the other side of the Captain Power ship right there in front of you? No. Yep, the one standing alone.
This one here.
Yep,
He's so shiny.
he's very shiny.
Here we go.
This is Sergeant Scout Baker from Captain Power, and he has sent me his lost weapons.
Nice.
Oh, that is cool.
So I will put the weapons with him.
Sorry, guys.
What's going on?
When I was showing the close up, it had like the audio turned back on, and so it had an echo during that time. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
sorry.
You are not going crazy. There's just extra sound in your sounds.
I guess I'll have to figure this out later, but
That's a complicated weapon reassembly.
Oh, I see where it does it.
Is it
So what's
connected to,
say the movie's name again because it was echoing during that time.
The movie's name is
Extreme Prejudice.
Extreme Prejudice, and it is an action movie starring Nick Nolte.
It's in another
Jer-
language on this, but yes.
What'd you say? Michael Ironsides?
Michael Ironsides, Powers
Torn.
Booth,
Rip Torn.
Rip Torn, All right.
Soundtrack by Goldsmith.
Jerry Goldsmith. Yeah.
It's got a lot of good points there.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Next.
What's this?
This box brought to you by the letter F.
These look like I don't need to open these.
Okie doke.
These
Yeah.
are just things Michael bought.
Yeah, these are just things that I bought. I don't need to open those.
They're not
Okay.
They're not fish.
I hope so.
They don't seem like it.
Well, one would hope.
All right. Oh, this is from our friend Robert Bergeron. For those of you that aren't aware, Robert is the guy who mastered the art of upscaling the Battlestar Galactica Viper fighters. So I don't know what's in here.
There's a paper there.
Let's see what it says.
It looks like it's a description of what's in the box.
Viper Mark II assembly instructions.
From the series, from the aughts.
I wonder.
That's exactly what it is. That is cool.
Were you taking a picture of it?
I was.
Okay, that's just cool. That's exactly what that is. Yeah, I can tell from here. Yeah. That is.
Wow, look at the detail in there.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Hold on, I'm
I
gonna.
want to learn how to 3D print like that. Here.
Thanks.
Opening the package.
It's rolled up and bubble wrap. We're gonna love
That
it.
is really cool.
It's gonna enrich our life so much.
That's
Nice.
cool.
It almost looks like the ship called the White Witch from the first episode of Droids.
That is one of the best prints I think I have ever seen. Quality wise. That is neat. Very even.
That's what I'm saying. I wish I had the skill.
That thing looks like it might actually be able to take off. How heavy are those? Are those solid or?
Yeah, they're
what's
solid.
what's the infill on that? I mean, I know you can't. Just
I
tell by
guarantee it's
glancing.
100. Real
Yes,
close.
I think it's very close to 100. I don't see.
Holy crap, the canopy is magnetic.
Oh,
That's great.
Wow, that's
that
cool.
is so cool.
This is amazing, Robert. Thank you.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
this is
looking
pretty
forward to
close.
Oh, and
is
it has openings to the engine,
Here
and
you go.
oh, that's just cool.
You
Man, I think I'm gonna have to modify your phrase of the fans are doing the best work too. The fans are doing all the work.
yeah, the fans are doing everything. Look at this.
Wes Sanders says,
That is
ask him what
awesome.
3D printer he uses, please.
What 3D printer
Yes.
do you use?
Is he
You-
on?
I don't
Look
know.
at that.
It's amazing.
It's a good print. That's a solid print.
Look at that. Feel that.
Yeah.
See, I am so jealous.
Who doesn't want to play with something like that?
That is like an entire spool of filament though. Like this is a
Yeah, but that's like a $20 spill.
I mean, give me. And look at this, Tim.
You would have paid.
that wasn't a critical statement, Tim. I was just saying that is
Dude,
substantial.
There are points
Hand this
underneath.
over
No,
to
no, 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 no. Do it. Keep it just like
Okay.
that.
Are those magnetic too?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, wait. So this is the front one.
Just
Tim
freaking
says
wow.
Michael doesn't hate modern stuff. He hates stuff that sucks.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so you can get these little magnets and actually put them in the pieces.
Oh, man.
I made a phone mount that you could mount on a wall with an arm, like articulated.
And check it out. He even kept
With
the
rocket.
rocket in there.
Toph says we need drugs back. Apparently, you know what? I tried to give you the
Here, hand this over to
simulation of like having drugs back a minute ago when there was like a double echo and everyone was screaming in the chat. So you clearly are not looking for a drug experience. That's all I'm saying.
That's good.
Isn't that awesome?
So cool.
That is
That
unreal.
would have taken over a week to print. And
I
that
do
would
love the
probably guess.
magnet edition. That is
Yeah,
extremely
that is
handy.
so cool.
That's-
Look at that.
what does that do? The
That
red
shoots the
button.
missile.
It's got a spring in it.
I
Oh, sorry.
like that.
It would have been funny if it hurt you. Like it was just made that much
Actually,
better.
It's a very powerful spring.
Disposable Rat says, I liked the double echo. Well, thank you. I do apologize for that. I was just trying to give you guys the ability to actually see what Michael was looking at. So it made you where you couldn't hear anything he said. So that was my bad.
That's good. No harm, no
Technology is hard
foul. No
sometimes.
harm, no foul.
I owned it. I owned
Sir
the
Michael
failure.
French.
Wolfie says, can I seriously buy that right now? Oh man, the missile too. I need new shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy those over on the Battlestar Galactica Facebook page from Robert Bergeron. Part of the he's in the collector club. If you go to my Viper review of his original Viper, or I'm sorry, go to the Cylon Raider review of his upscaled Cylon Raider, and the link to his stuff in the Battlestar Galactica club is in the video description.
Starscream says, if my misophonia freaking out is a drug experience, then I'll still represent my DARE pledge back when I was a kid.
Hello, everyone. Hope all is well with everybody. After watching the Best Animal Sidekicks live stream, I got inspired. I went ahead and created a diorama for you. Oh.
You should open it.
Okay. I didn't want to give away the.
I noticed you stopped talking in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah.
Which is very unlike you. Oh, yeah. What have we here? That is
Oh, he
small.
sent you, Melinda. He sent you a Japanese cat Lego.
Yay! I want to put this together. Here's something else I can do on the after show.
You can yet assemble another
That's right.
Japanese toy.
Thank you. Who's this from again?
It's from Ramses Rivera.
You know,
Thank
used
you,
to roll
Ramses.
Egypt.
Great. You know, I've got a spreadsheet that I'm gonna start that's got a list of all the things that everyone gives us. So
Look at that.
So, do you know what this?
That's ground clutter. Very
It's the
excellent.
swamp of sadness.
Yes.
This is gonna get bad.
Yes.
This
Real
is gonna get
upsetting.
dark really fast.
So this is
Sun's
the
getting real
never-ending
over, big guy.
story, Swamp of Sadness, and it's after Atreyu walks away, and Artax's reins are just sticking out of the mud.
I was trying to remember the music from that scene.
That's
That's funny, Ramses. Thank you so much for sending that.
That's
It's-
pretty funny.
Kind of-
It took
kinda
me a
sad.
second to realize because I was like, "Well, where's the horse?" And then I realized that's the point. It's already happened. I'm holding my heart right now. That's rough. Oh,
Yeah, but they like retconned it at the end. Spoiler alert.
I think this is from this is from Evander.
It still happened. That doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
This has come all the way from Scotland from Evander.
Are you actually the same person on the other end of the transporter beam that you were when you left the ship?
Wilson says that is the most depressing diorama ever.
I like that you can prop it up. Like
Michael and Melinda, this should be the penultimate package you should receive from Scotland, and thought to include this postcard of my ancestors' castle prior
What?
to the Jacobite uprising of
I wanna
1745.
look at it while he was reading
If
it.
either of you are fans of the TV series, you might know a lot of the history. In this package, I picked up another Action Force. Oh, wow. Okay. So we have here
it's a dog.
another
I'm sorry.
Action Force hardback storybook, Return of the Dinosaurs, and we have a Batman storybook, The Warhawk.
Ooh.
These are vintage children's storybooks from England. And then we have a BBC Dalek survival guide, which Aaron really wants to look at.
I want to know how to survive Daleks.
Evander, thank you so much. This is awesome.
It is awesome.
I cannot wait to make videos out of these storybooks, because like we
We've
did
gotten a bunch of those lately.
from Evander, like we did with
Oh, they were from Evander.
they were
too?
from Evander. So like we did with the He-Man storybooks, I fully plan to do a Ladybird Action Force storybook video. So let me set this to the side here. And then we have...
Jody says, Rob Bergeron also has a Facebook page under the name Geek Candy Labs. It's the one with the Simpsons-style comic book guy as a logo.
Oh, okay, cool.
So Timothy Ward has been posting links to that all in the chat. So check them out if you're interested in the cool ship there.
Ship. You said ship.
S-H-I-P.
P is in person.
P.
Got boots?
What's that about?
This is a very heavy box.
Maybe it's gold. Ooh, I hope it's gold.
Not that heavy.
Oh. Well, that's kind of a lot.
How come the last corner always hangs?
Because it's cool like that. Pretty sure it is boots.
No, it's boots.
Wow.
Oh,
Holy crap.
what are they about?
It's like the entire library of Winston Churchill's memoirs.
Like, as in he wrote these things?
Yeah.
He wrote that much.
Yeah, this is
That's a lot
the
of
sixth and
scribble.
last volume of Winston Churchill's monumental Second World War memoir.
Bro, I think you just got some reading.
All of them are in here.
Wow.
This is from Scott Williams. Dude, thank you so much.
That's a lot of education.
Look, we've got Triumph and the Tragedy. We've got Closing the Ring. The Hinge of Fate. The Grand Alliance.
Why do these sound like Star Wars
They're-
novels?
Their,
They do, actually.
their Finest Hour. The Gathering Storm.
Why do these sound like Wheel of Time book titles?
Because Winston Churchill was awesome. That's why.
Also, The Gathering Storm is the name of it.
He also sent us a sealed Roxette CD. Favorites from Crash Boom Bang.
Ah,
Nice.
Michael likes Roxanne.
I do like Roxette. Roxette's awesome. Thank you. And then finally we have with a
Boots.
wow. We have with a ribbon around it and everything, the invasion before Normandy, the
I like that ribbon.
the secret battle of Slapton Sands. And then we have, look at this, Utah Beach, the amphibious landing and airborne operations on D-Day.
So it's just a box of World War II stuff plus Roxette.
Yes.
Something to listen to while you're reading.
Yeah, get you in the mood, you know, because it's like they're German, right? Roxette.
No, they're Swedish
Oh,
or something like that.
I knew they were from
Linda.
somewhere not America.
They're Scandinavian.
Are they? I guess they are.
I know nothing.
Or
about
I thought they were Swedish, but they might be Danish. But don't rip me up on that,
This is
okay?
getting rough, guys.
They're not German.
I don't
know
think
that.
that we're like required
No,
to
I'm
know
just-
where, you know, Roxette is from,
Oh, I would not have got that.
unless
right.
they were a toy line.
I would
This
not
is
have got that
dude. Scott. This is awesome. Thank you, man.
It is awesome.
right. You are.
I am.
All right. Let's see what we have here. Windsor, Colorado, from Willie O'Burke.
Is that
There's about to be some stiff weather up there in Colorado.
Oh, I know what this is.
Is it a put behind you on the floor item, or what's going on?
I'm
I
just
don't-
wondering, do you need to open
Yeah, I don't think I can open this one here because
it?
this,
Of reasons.
for reasons,
Illegal reasons. I'm just
No.
kidding. Not illegal
What
at
is
all.
wrong?
no, this is
it's full of Sudafed.
Oh dear.
we're gonna hold this one off
It's
and
a gift for someone else
Okay, Michael.
Yes.
speaking.
that's not ours, and so we don't want
Yep.
to spoil the surprise. That's
Yep.
all.
okay, let's see here.
George
Cash.
Dakin says they are Swedish.
That's what I
You
thought.
were
I was
correct.
correct. I should always trust the first answer on the SAT.
Yeah, you should.
Cashman's Comics has sent us a box.
You're right,
Coca-Cola.
Robert. It's
Coca-Cola.
definitely a key of Coke.
Coca-Cola. Classic.
Oh,
Not that new Coke.
all right.
Real
This
Coke.
is something that I bought recently because I found out about this line of toys.
So these are all things that you just bought. They're not gifts.
Did you
that-
send yourself something on the live stream?
No,
Because
but now that I've opened it, I'll put one on the table to show you guys. There is a Dollar Tree action figure line that's out right now called Final Faction. And
that's cool.
And I had to know what action figures you could get for $1.
I'm sorry, is that Tim the action figure?
It does look like
really
Tim the
is
action
Tim the
figure.
action
Dude, you
figure.
gotta come check this
Holy
out.
crap, that's
Tim,
amazing.
you are officially now Master Sergeant Steadfast.
Yes. I think we
Oh my
have
God.
we have found you as an action
It
figure.
really is you.
Actually is me.
Uh-huh.
Put that up in the camera so
We-
that all may
we
rejoice. There's a camera over there. I don't know. If you
Well, I'm
know.
just saying, like,
Yeah, we'll worry about it.
Okay, nobody's interested in the fun. That's fine.
Tripoli 1976 says two best Swedish things, Roxette and the Chef. That's it.
Ooh.
I disagree. I would say Dan Swano is Swedish, and he's like the best thing ever to come out of Sweden. And then also First Aid Kit is a great band, and they're Swedish. So check them out.
No way.
Okay, so we have French Kit Kats, which could also
French
be
Kit Kats.
British Kit Kats.
Are they really?
We have
Sustainably sourced cocoa.
They're like French, like Canadian though. It says Canada.
we
No,
have
it's not real French.
we have Cadbury's Mr. Big.
I don't think I've ever had a Canadian Kit Kat. Maybe I have.
That's too many
I've heard of them.
syllables in the
Ooh.
name.
What's this?
Terrifying.
You know, there's a whole bunch of Mexican
Hey,
chocolate
Tim.
that we were supposed to eat.
Somebody finally sent us the Wind Sailor for GI Joe, the Manta Wind Sailor. This was sent by it's from my buddy Colt. I didn't realize this was coming from Canada. This all came from Canada.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
So,
it's Canadian.
Colt, thank you so much, man. I can't wait to put
Mr.
this
Big.
together. This is the Manta Wind Sailor from GI Joe, which I still didn't have in my
That's
collection.
like the last thing. Though.
One of the last major things.
Yngve Malmsteen is Swedish. Yes, good point. Lots of great stuff coming out of Sweden.
And we have Nestle Coffee Crisps and O. Henry's from Canada.
Ooh.
Oh.
Hey, Beta Ray Bob, I have definitely had Japanese Kit Kats, and they are amazeballs. Oh, Henry and I've never had coffee
All right,
crisp.
this last one is going to be something.
Michael,
Oh.
is this French?
Yeah.
Okay.
Delicieux.
It means it's good. It means yum
it means
yum.
yum.
Mm-hmm. You will
It's
enjoy
not
it.
as good as moon pie.
It is
but
of good tasting.
Okay.
Great.
So,
It already says what it is.
well,
I know what it is, but you don't.
I'm still not over how much like Tim that was.
This is like Tim if he had that robot arm that he wants so much.
Yeah, he's halfway
I
there.
want to be a whole robot.
You
No,
wanna
you're
be a-
halfway there.
This
That's
is-
what you're fighting for.
This is you in process of
Mhm.
like becoming Bionic 6.
Bionic.
This-
Bionic Tim.
this parcel is also from our friend Evander.
I'm just gonna put this here so Tim is like he's still over here.
That's right.
Wicked Person says, do they have Kit Kats in France? Oh yeah. Oh, only they call them Le Kit Kat. They pour mayonnaise all over those.
Oh,
Oh,
What are they, Southern? We love mayonnaise down here too. Have we
I don't know what
already
that is, but I
opened
like
all
the way
those
it
boxes?
sounds.
Wow.
That's a good sounding box opener right there.
So I feel like we need box opening music or something, you know? So
To
the hustle.
Okay, that's all I got.
ASMR with Michael, says Ratneck.
Oh, I love that ASMR, but it's a guy opening a box for 4 hours.
Yeah. So you guys, how many times do you think it's been pitched as a film
7.
for Elliot
Oh.
from E.T. to be an adult as he is now And after the events in ET, he's like become like some sort of like space astrophysicist, NASA guy, whatever, trying to like get in touch with the ETs and stuff, because he's never really gotten over the whole ET experience. But he's kind of depressed because he misses his friend, and it just sort of like changed his world, and he can't fit into society. And then something happens with his son.
How many times have you pitched this? Because you sound like you've got the pitch.
Reimagine, like, oh, there still is wonder in the universe. Not everything ends badly. And like he reawakens his sense of like, belief in something larger than himself. How many times do you think that's been pitched?
Somewhere Spielberg just activated his lawyers. I'm pretty sure you just like read something he's got written down. Because I can see that. Like he's at the lab and they're like, we've got to cut funding for the project, Elliot. I know this is important to you. And he goes home and he's got one he made himself out of a microwave and a popcorn popper. And he's trying to contact the aliens. But it's sad. It's like Contact, but worse.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
I think it's probably been pitched.
But I feel like.
Okay, he looks astonished.
That's going to be great on top of the DVDs.
So this is incredible. He sent us.
Yeah.
He sent us a boxed original Doctor Who TARDIS interior playset.
Wow.
So it's battery operated?
Yes.
Obligatory. It looks bigger on the inside joke.
This is the playset for David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston's original season of Doctor Who, and it's the only action figure TARDIS interior playset that was made during the modern run. Now they only do figures, like a lot of modern companies have relegated themselves to. But
it'll be a nice thing to put with your figures.
Say what?
It'll be a nice thing to put with.
Yeah.
We need to open this and get those batteries out.
That's assuming he didn't already do that, because it has been opened prior.
I kind of wish they would do this more, and they wouldn't have to do it every Doctor too, or at least because don't some of the Doctors kind of share the TARDIS interiors with only minor changes at times?
Yeah.
Eventually, there will be sort of a rejuvenation of the TARDIS.
Right, but this one is very, very different from a lot of the others. Like when they went from Matt Smith to Peter Capaldi, it didn't change terribly much. The change really occurred from Capaldi to Jodie Whittaker. And it really changed from this to Matt Smith. This is a very unique TARDIS interior, one of the more memorable ones, because this was one of the eras in which the show was at peak popularity during its run.
No, I like that interior.
Yeah,
I think people would like to get more of that. It must have either been too expensive, either underproduced, or some reason why we didn't see very many of them.
I love the price tag on the front.
What does it say?
£12.99.
Are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Marked down
from 19
20 pounds. So what, 40 US?
Wow.
I like that it says Vorp. Is that the correct spelling for the sound the TARDIS makes?
I think so, yeah.
Canon.
That's canon.
Wicked Person says another excellent 10th grade essay this week was a comparison of the relative merits of the various music discs in Minecraft.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Minecraft is one that became a series of toys and everything from a video game. Aaron, I know you know more about Minecraft than anybody in this room. So,
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of statuary that came out of Minecraft. And now that I think about it, Lego, there are a lot of cool Lego toys, Lego sets that came out of Minecraft. But one of the things that's haunting about that game is its music.
Right.
The original soundtrack to it is one of those that is better than it has any right to be. And so it is nice that they've continued to have that in the Microsoft era now that Microsoft's purchased that and everything else that we love and made it exclusive to Xbox and PC. Except Minecraft is available on PlayStation.
All right. So World Made of Cardboard says the final faction figures are pretty neat. Simple concepts and features, but executed well.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to Simple. I'm tired of all this overly complex stuff that makes the toys, more expensive needlessly. I'm going to be doing a video on the Final Faction toy line for sure.
World Made of Cardboard says Dollar Tree and Family Dollar are the same company. If successful, I would not be surprised if Final Faction vehicles show up at Family Dollar.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay. I was going to say, I was trying to find a list of like the stuff she's done. There's a lady that named Mimi Page, who is a great composer that I really love, and she's done a ton of. She did Fallout 4. She's done. I can't remember all of the different video games she's done, but she does a ton of video game stuff and a lot of the music from modern video games, like we said earlier.
Did she do Skyrim, or was that someone else?
I feel like she did something in
contributed.
Skyrim.
The music in Fallout 4 is great.
Yeah.
Having played an embarrassingly high number of hours of it, according to my
She does a
Steam
lot of
account.
that ethereal sounding, like new agey kind of sounding music, but she's a great, like, super good composer.
Skyrim and Fallout 4 were produced by, ultimately the same company. So there's a lot of assets that are shared between both. So it's like one's the sci-fi version and one's the sword and sorcery kind of take on RPGs.
Before we get too far out from this, I just want to thank Evander one more time, because this couldn't have been, this had to have been an expensive ship from Scotland. And
yeah, that's insane.
And Evander, I really want to thank you for sending this. I am going to make sure that this gets a video feature done on it, along with the character options toys from this era of the toy line. So rest assured, this will be getting more attention on the RetroBlasting channel soon. Thank you so much for sending this. I'm blown over. So I just wanted to say that.
Did you see the age range on that? 5+?
Yeah.
Those are some responsible 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
That's a pretty intricate toy.
For sure.
It's made with real sugar.
Just like a moon pie.
It's filled with marshmallow, which is very popular in Scotland.
Oh, man. Well, everyone, how are we feeling?
I feel pretty good. I don't know.
I always feel good.
But
I'm just speechless with between all the books from Churchill and the Starfighter from Battlestar Galactica and this awesome action movie and this Doctor Who play set
this
and
movie that you guys didn't really get to hear about that much, but it sounds really great.
And then of course this Manta Wind Sailor and all the candy.
I got a romance novel.
You got a romance novel too, yeah.
Written by a square.
Yes.
It's hip to be square.
That's what I've heard. Dun, dun.
Well, guys, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being here today. For those of you who are patrons, as you know, in the next 15 to 20 minutes, we will be doing the Patreon exclusive after show, which we do every Saturday after the live stream. So that link will be posted in the next 10 to 15 minutes for everybody who's a patron over on the RetroBlasting Patreon. For those of you who aren't patrons and you're just about to get ready with the rest of your weekend, thank you for joining us here today. It's always fun to just hang out on Saturday for a few hours and just eat moon pies and shoot the breeze with you guys. Anybody else have anything they want to say?
Click like.
Oh yeah, Tim wants you to click the like button.
Tim wants you to click like and subscribe to Patreon. I just want you to go buy some moon pies.
I just had a really nice time with all of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week.
That's right. That's right, Aaron.
All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of your Saturday or Sunday, wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you all on the next Saturday stream. I'm working on a big video for next week. So that hopefully will land next week in between these two live streams.
Now we have to remember all the things we're going to talk about on the after show.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.